friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's reading we are going to be asking a couple of questions. I have not yet decided what I'm calling this reading, but essentially what we're going to be doing is you can ask about any person in your life, present or past, and basically see whether they are their true self with you or the truest version of the most authentic version of themselves, and whether they're trustworthy. So how this reading is going to work is we're going to start with the energy check, which is going to be how this person appears to you and acts towards you. So it doesn't matter, like I said, you can ask about anyone in your life, family member, friend, romantic interest, lover, whatever, coworker, acquaintance, anything. So all that matters is that this first part resonates for you in terms of the person you're asking about. Don't force something that doesn't fit. So you should be able to clearly say, yes, this person acts in this way towards me. I do perceive them this way. Then great, you found your reading. If this first part does not resonate, then that reading will not be talking about the person you're asking about. I would feel free to try another group and watch that first part of the behavior, because if one of those resonates, then you could get clarity. That's why I do the energy checks, so that y'all don't have to just go in blindly. But then after we look at how that appears and you've confirmed this is your reading, then we're going to look at their true self. And by true, I just mean because obviously that's a complex and nuanced, layered, people are expansive, many universes and whatever, but their true self when it comes to how they relate to you, their true self when it comes to being in connection with you, and what their true intentions and motives are towards you. And so then after we look at that and kind of see, are they very similar, do they contrast, we're going to look at why this person is in your life. What is the overarching thing that they're here to show you, teach you, help you grow, help you understand, whether they're in your life for a season or a reason. What are they here? Why are they here? What can you do to utilize this connection? And then with the tarot deck that you choose, we are going to get guidance. So we're going to start by asking, can you trust this person? I'm going to go into that more intuitively in this part after we've kind of summarized these things, but we'll use tarot to confirm. And then after that, I'm going to use the deck that you chose to get guidance and ask specific questions based on the energy of your reading and what's going on, whatever I think could be most helpful, beneficial, pertinent to your needs. That is what we are going to be doing today. So I hope you guys are excited for this reading, and I hope it makes sense, and I hope it's enjoyable. So we have 4 different groups for y'all to choose from today. So starting with group number 1, we are going to be using the Mystical Medleys Tarot, and I have this ruby aura coated quartz tower on top. Say that 5 times fast. Wow. And then for group number 2, we are going to be using the Midcenturian Tarot, and I have this yellow fluorite tower on top. And then for group number 3, we are going to be using the Prismavisions Oracle. It is not actually a tarot deck. But it follows a tarot structure. It just has different names, so that'll be fun for me. Y'all know how much I like that. It's still a beautiful deck though, it's worth it. And then we have this Prehnite tower on top. Finally, for group number 4, we are going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot, and I have this blue fluorite tower on top. Did not realize I was using 2 different fluorites in this reading. I just thought they were pretty, and you know what? Fluorite has no business being as pretty as it is. I bet you have no business being as pretty as you are. But anyway, go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one, especially if you're asking about more than one person. But we're going to go ahead now and get into our Make a Wish mini message portion. If you guys are unaware, I do have a candle line with Angelic Magic 888. We're going to be using the sun candle today because it is a dark, overcast day. And what is this reading about if not shedding light on things, right? So the sun is a wonderful card, and the sun candle is a wonderful candle. All of my candles on Angelic Magic 888 site, including all of hers, you can use code ASO10 for 10% off. Intro squad, I want to know, what is your primary way of getting in touch with your intuition? And what has or hasn't worked for you? And what guidance would you give someone else about trusting their intuition? Or tell me an interesting story. What is a time where you trusted your intuition without any evidence and it worked out? What is a time where you learned that you needed to trust your intuition? I always think those stories are interesting and I would love to hear them, so feel free to share them down below. I love you guys. Thank you for sharing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and make our wish and see what our mini message is about. Wow. Okay. So we'll interpret this in a second. Let's just admire how gorgeous she is. If you would like to take a second now and just focus on your wish and what you would like to create, feel free to do that. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. So I'm gonna have to fix that. We have the Knight of Swords here. Communication is coming, and expect the truth. Although it might not be delivered in the most eloquent way, which I guess if you're here watching a reading from me, that's pretty fair. I'm not always the most, I do my best, but you know, we do these in one take, so we do the best we can. I feel that this Knight of Swords is talking about a couple of different scenarios. Number one, that you could be experiencing rapid change or rapid communication very soon. For those of you that recently got in an argument with someone where they may have said really hurtful things or said things in the heat of the moment that they didn't mean, I do feel like this is coming through. Obviously it's dependent on your situation, but it is coming through to say that like a lot of like what they were saying was not the truth of how they really feel. It was just, number one, projection, and number two, just like the heat of the moment coming out from them, and I think they really regret it. This person might have a bit of like a foot and mouth syndrome, and I feel like they are learning to rein in how verbal they are when they are in a stressful emotional state. That's just a message coming through. Whatever you want to do with that, maybe you don't need to do anything with it, that's fine. But also this is about speaking your truth and speaking up, but just being careful about how you word things, because sometimes we can word things harshly. I'm well aware of that as a creator. I say one thing wrong and there's a dissertation on why I am a terrible person for that. So, and I would say that's another excellent example of Knight of Swords energy, because it's just, you're not thinking about the big picture. You're just reacting in the moment to something you didn't like or something you find wrong. So, not you specifically, but you know what I mean. That experience I was just describing, you might find yourself being in that, where you find yourself just speaking your truth before you even mean to, or you find that the truth is just coming out a lot. I definitely feel like this Knight of Swords is letting you know that things in your life are speeding up, and I think that you can actually increase the pace of the flow of your life by speaking what you want into existence, or just like telling yourself it's going to happen. I feel like your words are very powerful, but also I feel like if you are waiting to hear news like from anywhere, I do feel like you will be hearing it soon. You can expect it soon. And I'm also just hearing this message of like, you can handle the truth. That is what will set you free. And the truth is a lot more liberating than you realize. The truth is not scary. The truth is a blessing. sometimes in disguise, but usually just a blessing. So I don't know, pretty scattered message, but hopefully whatever you needed resonated there. But that is all I have for you guys in this intro. We're going to go ahead and get into your reading now. So thank you guys so much for being here. Go ahead and pick your pile or piles, and once you have picked them, I will see you in your reading. Hi there, pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Ruby Aura Coated Quartz Tower and the Mystical Medleys Tarot, this is going to be your reading on, can you trust the person you are asking about? Is this person being real with you? Whatever I end up calling this video. Full breakdown of the reading in the intro, but we're going to start by looking at how this person shows up in your life. If this first part resonates, you found the right reading. If it resonates for someone you weren't asking about, maybe stick around and check it out, or put a note on it and go find another group to see if you can find the person you're asking about. But if it resonates, then you found the right reading. So this is going to represent how the person you're asking about shows up in your life, how they appear, what can be seen, what you acknowledge. So to start, we have the Sun. We have 2 of these cards. We have Conception with Spark and Crossroads with Choice. We have the Swamp Maiden and Connect. Okay, I really like this, so I'm definitely really hoping that they are being real with you, because this energy seems to be quite lovely. Let me make sure everything's, yes, I can even stretch these out a little bit. This is definitely someone who you just light up around. They make you feel young. They make you feel good. They're a positive influence in your life, and I would not be shocked if this is someone that you just feel like you can be a kid with again. I definitely feel like you guys connect on different levels. The fact that we have the Swamp Maiden here, I think one of the things that you guys connect on is the pain of the past, or just whatever is going on underneath the surface that you want to address. Although I don't know if that's a regular thing. Like, I feel like both of you guys kind of have this vibe of, you know that meme of the dog sitting in like a kitchen on fire, and you know, he's just drinking his coffee being like, this is fine. Well, I see you and the person you're asking about in that room, just enjoying your coffee, joking while the room's on fire, just being like, this is fine. I feel like you guys probably relate and relate to either similar like traumas or just painful experiences. Even if they're not similar, it just seems like you both resonate with each other's pain that you're trying to grow from, or there is a safe space to share that when the time is right. The fact that we have Connect here, like, it seems like you guys really do connect. It will, at the very least, you feel very connected to them, and it seems like they're genuinely connecting to you. And one thing I would say about this person as well is that they are very, I wouldn't say very indecisive, but they're open-minded and willing to do things differently. I feel like sometimes maybe you guys have the type of relationship, and I'm saying relationship as just like relationships in general, not like romantic relationships. This could be a romantic relationship, but you can ask about anyone. This is a type of relationship where both of you can either encourage each other to make good decisions or enable each other to make poor decisions. Like, oh, you know, we should maybe go to bed early tonight, but we could have a movie marathon instead. And like, I feel like when it comes to this person, you guys have a lot of great ideas together. I just heard the words, we should start a podcast. Like, you guys are probably very hilarious around one another. And I bet that you guys come up with a lot of great ideas together. It definitely seems like you have the ability to make this person, they could have their whole day planned out, and then you're like, I want to go fishing, like right now. Like, the fish are biting today. Like, let's go. The weather's great. And they're going to be like, oh, well, I was going to do XYZ, but fishing sounds good. And then they go fishing and have a great time. I don't know why fishing is the example. I don't know what makes the fish bite. But what I do know is that there is a spontaneous element to this friendship. And I think that, well, friendship, relationship, whatever ship it is, I think that they keep things pretty light with you. I think that you guys connect deeply when the time is right. But I feel like for the most part, this person likes to keep things light and also just likes to enjoy being around you and just enjoy your presence. Like, I feel like this person is an uplifting influence on your life. And I feel like, and I hope I'm correct in this, we'll look at that when we look at the other cards, but I do feel like your person that you're asking about, I feel like they also like to keep things light. It's like your guy, whatever relationship you guys have, it's kind of like you forged a safe space to be silly and joyful and playful. And like the density of life and the pain of life and just like the pain of being human and you know, all that jazz, like that seems to be like a thing that you both understandably battle, as we all do. But I feel like it is really easy to put that down when you're around each other. And it seems like you guys only really address that, or this person really only addresses, you know, the heaviness, the darkness when it's already been brought up or when there's a natural segue in conversation. But I do feel like they tend to like to keep things light. And I feel like no matter how you do connect, it is meaningful. It is something where, because I mean, you look at this connect card and like there's one heart between two people. And so I just think like you guys love spending time with each other. It seems like this person loves spending time with you too. It seems like you guys have a very fun, playful connection. It seems like you guys just make like life feels brighter and lighter around each other. And whether this is a family member or a friend or a romantic interest or a partner, I would say that this is, well, we'll go into it. I hope this is true because this is the type of caring connection that everybody deserves. So let's go ahead and see what's underneath the surface, what their true self is, their true motives, their true intentions, and we'll go from there. But I can and will build off of that question if the nuance requires it. But anyway, we have the mom boss, we have side, past returns, fear, sorrow. We have air with intellect. We have support. And we have mistrust in reverse. So, okay. This is 100% real. And I'm gonna bet that you already know some of what I'm about to tell you because this person has told you some of it, but I'm also willing to bet that you intuitively pick up on this energy being here, whether this person speaks to it or not. They are being their real self when they are with you, but what you don't see or what they don't share, what they aren't authentic about, I think is the extent to which they struggle, or at least the extent to which they're struggling right now. And also how scary and challenging it is to be in connection with someone like you. And that's not because you're scary or challenging. The scary challenge is the fact that there is nothing about you that this person sees as a red flag or untrustworthy. They know that you're being genuine with them. They know that you have the purest and best intentions for them, and they love how they feel when they're around you. They love having fun with you. They love spending time with you. You make their life brighter. And that's really scary to them because number one, there's fear of losing it. Number 2, I definitely see some imposter syndrome coming through here. And number 3, I think that they have been betrayed by people that they thought were genuine in the past. And that has made them more avoidant of intimate connection in general. But also true connection and like to truly be connected with someone, you have to let go of control. And I feel like this person feels uncomfortable with the fact that they're not necessarily in control of the situation. But what they're needing to understand is that they don't have to be. Like, this is a communion, not a dictatorship. I don't know. I don't think those two words go hand in hand. But this person definitely overthinks a lot. And like, for them, with this support card being here, they always want to support you. And I think that if you share more about your pain, your fears, your worries, the things that you keep in the shadows, if you share more of that than they do, I think that they feel a sense of camaraderie and safety in you sharing those things with them, and also a sense of validation as well. Because number 1, even if they haven't echoed similar sentiments, they do feel similar, they've had similar experiences, and I'm sure they've said that to a degree, but I don't think you realize how much they can relate to those things. And to hear you share your perspectives and your experience of it not only makes them feel less alone, but also helps them realize that that you can have these feelings, you can be that way and still be accepted and supported. And I think another reason why they like that you share it is because it gives them an opportunity to be a useful friend, a useful member of your family, a useful partner, a useful romantic interest. And they want to support you. I think one thing that they are not genuine about, though, is the fact that they may be needing more support right now, and they may not even realize it. Because one thing that I see here is that they have fears and unresolved beliefs that stem from wounds around connection and around what healthy connection looks like, what they are deserving of, and what they are allowed to receive. Their conscious mind might tell them sometimes, hey, we shouldn't say that. We don't know if we can trust pile 1. We shouldn't do that. We don't know if we can trust them. But there is a bodily sensory feeling that is also in their heart. Well, your heart is part of your body. It does give you sensory feelings, I think. It does give you feelings. Where they're like, no, pile 1's a real one. I can trust them. But they are just constantly running themselves ragged. I think that they are always on the go. They are always doing so much. They put so much on their plate. And with this air card here, they're always overthinking. Their mind is always racing a mile a minute. And for some of you might be like, this sounds just like me. Well, maybe you don't share as much of this with them either. Maybe you guys mirror that and you don't even realize it. I definitely think that they love and cherish and appreciate whatever type of connection they have with you. And I think that it also challenges and creates a lot of discomfort in them, because it's almost like, after you break a bone, obviously, you're in a cast for a while. And after you get out of the cast, you got to go to physical therapy. You got to build it back up. It's like this person is still softening into a sense of safety in this connection. Or if it's been like a really long time, they still deep down sometimes have fears that maybe they're not good enough. Like, especially if this is a friend, like they may have fears that they're not a good enough friend, or that they're neglecting you. They don't want to neglect you. And they also don't want you to think that you're never not important. And I relate to this too. If any of my homies are watching right now, they know I will get back to them when I get back to them. My lack of interaction is not because I don't want to talk. It is because I only have so much brain space and I'm an introvert. So I can only do so much. And I think that this person is kind of similar, but also they just have a lot on their plate. And I think that there's something very scary about, like, just even thinking about not having you in their life. Like, what if they mess something up? What if something falls through? What if they were wrong and they can't trust you? But I think that they just move through it because that's really all they can do. But I think that they maybe want to open up to you. And I'm actually going to get really serious for a second. For some of you, this could actually be really serious and this person could have no idea of it. Obviously, I'm not putting like any responsibility on you, but if you feel called to, it may be really beneficial to give this person like space, like, hey, like, it seems like you're going through a lot and you're acting like everything's fine, but it doesn't seem like things are fine. And I really just want to be here for you. I care about you. I want to support you because, like, I just feel like this person is so close to bursting into tears. And I feel like those would be tears of relief because the amount of emotion that they have just withheld has drained the shit out of them, brought them to a state of complete apathy. And they're so used to it that they just don't know how to release it quite yet. And the feeling of lightness that they have around you is something that they cherish. And that's probably one reason why they don't want to share a ton of that, because number one, they don't want to bring you down. Number two, they don't want to be a burden, which, newsflash, friendships, you can always set healthy boundaries and be like, hey, are you in the space to talk about this? But then also, you know, a true friend will tell you, and real friends want to be there for you. They want to support you. I feel like what this person doesn't quite realize is that you would 100% and you would more often do the same things that they do for you if they would give you the chance to let you do that. So I feel like this person has a hard time letting people in, and they have a really hard time even being honest with themselves about their internal chaos or their struggles or what they're going through. They are very much in their head. They live in their head. So, you know, if the body is keeping track of all the tension and stuff, they may not even realize their nervous system is completely shot. So are they being real with you? Yes. Are they being real about all aspects of their life? No. Is that because they are being deceptive? No. It is because they, one, may not even be aware of the extent of how they're struggling themselves, and two, they recognize that some of these fears are not even rational. Like when I was a kid, I would leave my grandparents' house and I would have these thoughts, like they're like the most loving people in the world. I'd be like, what if they actually like don't like me and like they're just being fake? Like I'd be like 6 years old, just being like, what if when I leave, they just like say bad things about me? Like, which is just so silly, right? But they're just intrusive thoughts. And even then I'm like, nah, I don't think so. That's a lot of energy and effort in one direction to then switch it up when I leave. And so it's just kind of like that. It's like, it sounds bogus when you say it out loud, but when it stays as like a little thought, a little whisper in the wind, it's a lot harder to look at it tangibly and be like, that is delusional. So I do think that because this person hides a lot of this stuff, even from themselves, they're not always aware of how they could be receiving similar support and just be a bit lighter. Like the kind of example that I'm seeing is like, inside of them, their mind is like a boat that is swimming on top of their moving on top of their subconscious. And there's deep, dark depths there. And this person has scuba gear. Dare I say, maybe they even have a submersible that is classed and safe. But they just don't get in it because they're afraid to see what's down there. well, there's so much I gotta do up here on the boat, you know, I gotta tie the nets, I gotta wash the poop deck. Why are there so many fishing and water analogies with this one? I don't understand that. It's just almost like they are so used to functioning on autopilot, and functioning on autopilot is what's comfortable for them. I do think that actually being in your presence gets them into feeling. And so not only do they feel like the negative feelings they might be avoiding, but also like all the positive feelings, and like, oh yeah, life can be really good, life can be really fun. And I think like one thing, and I will say this, and this is coming straight from their heart, one thing that they absolutely adore and cherish about you is the fact that you give them the freedom to just be themselves and be silly. And they are so grateful for that. Are they real with you? Yes. Are they giving you their life story all the time? No. But I do think they could be more real with you, especially considering you're a genuine person in their life, where they could maybe open up more. And so we'll get into that. But this card is going to represent what their purpose is in your life, what their role is, or what they can teach you. Wow, and we have the Death card. Okay, so this actually makes a lot of sense, and I would say that this goes both ways. This is a mutually beneficial connection in this sense. You guys come together to help one another transform, grow, and change. I do feel like the bond between you is quite intense. And intense is not bad. Like, intense is just like, you know, like, if you've seen, when Kino Tarot and I see each other in the airport, that greeting's intense to other people, but they just don't understand what it's like to have an excellent friendship. Like, just the intensity of, like, you know, think about this person, like, oh my god, I love them so much, like intensity like that. There is an intensity that I think draws both of you. You both feel things very deeply, and I think that both of you have similar things that you have left unresolved from the past that I think you guys can heal together, or at the very least shed and release together and grow together. This is a type of connection that is transformative, and it's one where it may be hard to remain in contact if one of you keeps growing and the other doesn't, especially just because, like, at that point you guys are like on different wavelengths. But even then, it's like I feel like one or both of you could catch up. I do wonder too, in terms of this person's proximity to you, like, there may be cycles where you guys are closer and further apart, not because there's like any discord between the two of you, but just because of life and life circumstances. But it's like whenever you do come together, it's like, oh, you've been dealing with that, I've been dealing with this, we were going through the exact same thing with different semantics. It just seems like your paths are very closely aligned, and you guys can do a lot of healing work together, a lot of shedding and releasing of the past, which I think is so cool, especially since, like, no wonder this is coming up in this person's psyche, like this fear of the past, this fear of being hurt again, this fear of being wrong, this fear of opening up and being hurt. And I feel like, you know, it's interesting. It's turning into your purpose in their life. You're really helping them realize that they can put an end to that fear. They don't have to be, like, they don't have to have their walls up with everyone. You know, you can open up to certain people. Like, some people do just have your best interests at heart. And I think that they're here to do the same thing for you. So if anything I was describing in terms of this person resonated for you, take that as a sign that you guys are even more similar than you already think you are. Like, I would even be willing to bet there are times where you guys could be sitting in silence and see the, like, let's say a bird flies in front of the window. You guys could think the exact same thing about the bird and not even realize it. Like down to the wording. I don't know. You guys definitely have a really cool vibe. And I feel like you guys have a deep, powerful connection that, you know, no matter what it is meant to help you guys grow and change and release the past and release what does not serve you, and also move through shadow and integrate it into your conscious self in ways where you realize like you're not flawed. Well, I mean, we're all flawed in certain ways, right? But like your flaws do not make you unlovable. You are not a stagnant person. People can grow and change. And I feel like their purpose in your life is to help you grow and change and shed a lot of painful past shit that doesn't need to be there, and vice versa. I also think that, you know, you guys could just explore powerful periods of life together. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if this person stays into your life until one or both of you are old. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if you guys remain in contact as long as it's humanly possible. Because I feel like this is someone where once that bond of trust is truly established, it's really hard to go back from that. And that's a great thing, because you can really, because now you have a safe space to talk about things that, you know, are intense, you know, things like death, things like aging, things like insecurity, vulnerability, anything. So speaking of trust, oh my gosh, I forgot to put your crystal on here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you've had to go without that. Shame on me. Okay, so speaking of trust, we're gonna go ahead and get into your tarot now. I really like this reading. Like, this is one of these readings where it's like you never know what's gonna come through, and I never know how it's gonna unfold, but like, this is some beautiful real ass shit, and I'm glad that two beautiful people have found one another, because y'all deserve that shit. Okay, so we're gonna start by asking, can you trust this person? I would say yes, but let's see. Spirit, can pile number 1 trust this person they are asking about? We have the 7 of Wands. Yeah, I think that you can. But there's one thing I will say. This person, the only thing I wouldn't trust them with, and it's not because they would be doing this to cause harm, but because it might not be the type of support that you need. Sometimes when we're dealing with something, you know, we don't want to hear about the other person's perspective. We just want to be validated in the fact that we're frustrated, or that we're in pain, or that we're struggling. There might be times where you want to talk to this person about something, and I wouldn't say playing the devil's advocate, because it's not in a like actually like Redditor thing. Like, it's just more like, well, have you considered this perspective? Well, maybe it's not like that. It, like, they're coming from a more logical perspective, when really you're just in a state of like, I just need support, and like to know that I'm okay. There might be times where seeking support from this person may not be helpful if it's not the type of support that you need. And I do feel like this person is the type of person where like they're not going to comfort you in a way that in the way that you want them to. They're going to comfort you in the way that makes sense to them. So, and it's not that they don't want to comfort you. Of course they do. But I think that, like, you know how some people are better, like, if someone's really upset, like, some people are better at you know, holding them and telling them it's going to be okay, and just like really being there for them. And other people are really awkward about that and don't know what to do, and just try and want to fix it and just want to like make it better so that it stops. Like, I feel like this person is more so in the latter, where they want to kind of dissipate emotion. And so I do think that there is some emotional unavailability with this person, where they share a lot of that with you. So can you trust them? Yes, but it definitely takes time for them to break down their walls, especially with the 7 of Wands. I think that you can trust them, and they are learning that they can trust you. I would definitely say one reason why you know you can trust them is because this person would be too damn busy to be doing any snake shit. They're worried about their own problems. And I do think that they cherish the connection that you guys have. And so with this Seven of Wands being here, I do feel like sometimes they could be, and that example that I was describing, one area of growth for you guys might be learning, you know, what the other needs, or learning to suspend your own natural instincts of how to support and instead give the type of support you know the other needs. Because I do think that when you guys are traversing emotionally intense or painful things and like coming to one another for support, it just might feel really vulnerable and scary to be open with that, because, you know, it's already hard enough to talk about it, and when it's not received the way you're hoping, it can hurt, right? And you might feel like this person could be hiding things, especially earlier on, because they might withhold a lot of information, or they might be very touchy and like hesitant to open up. But that's not because they're hiding things. Well, they are hiding things. They're hiding their pain, like, and they're hiding that from themselves. They're hiding their emotions, yes, but not because their emotions are deceptive or what's within them is deceptive. It's just because they don't feel safe enough to share it yet. And that's kind of something, like, it's a process of patience. But yes, I do think that you can trust them. But now I want to get guidance for, is there anything that you could do, is there anything pile one could do at this time that would be supportive or helpful to this person they asked about, that would allow them to feel supported or just bring more connection or understanding? How can pile one be a source of respite for this person that they asked about? And how can they support this person in the healthiest and most aligned way possible? Maybe the Page of Swords. Okay, so I definitely think one thing here is you may want to support this person and they still may not let you, because they could be very uncomfortable with receiving. And so here's really what Spirit is recommending with this person. And I definitely think this is going to be the best approach. So if you already do this, just keep doing this. When you feel that this person is really struggling, or when you feel like they could really benefit from having a chat, open up the opportunity to make that happen, but don't force it. So, you know, for example, maybe a passing comment of like, hey, you seem more down than usual, or you seem like you have a lot on your mind. Like, do you want to talk about it? And whether they say yes or no, entirely up to them. But I feel like if they say no, give it a bit and open up that opportunity again. And even if they keep saying no, don't stop giving them that opportunity, because it might be a situation where they need more time to open up and to truly realize like, oh, pile one is asking me about this because they care. I'm not a burden by sharing this. And then also realizing like, yeah, I can't keep holding this in any longer. But also there's guidance here as well though about learning how to best support this person and recognizing what tactics work better than others. Like, so for example, this is going to be different for all of you, and I'm trying to even figure out how to articulate this. Like, there's going to be a learning curve with this person, and maybe you've already experienced that, but a learning curve in terms of what they respond to most, like what they're most open to, what they respond to best, and what they what are areas that they want to hide from, what are areas they feel insecure about, like the things that they're more afraid of sharing. It might be a learning process to know how you can best support them, to know when the time is to bring that up, to know to recognize the signs of when they might need more support than they're letting on. Obviously, you don't have to be like, you don't have to save this person or anything like that, and you don't have to be reading their cues or anything like that. Like, you know, one thing you can do is say, you know, you're an adult, I'm an adult, we're friends, or whatever you guys are. I care about you and I always want to support you, but if you do not tell me that you need support, I can't know it's there. But I feel like for some of you, this person just will not ask for support on their own, and if it needs prompting, I feel like you're being encouraged to be the one to prompt that when it's genuine and when it comes from your heart. Because they will sense whether it's like, oh, I'm doing this because I can tell something's wrong. Like, they don't want to share if someone doesn't actually care or isn't listening. And I'm not saying that that's you, but there is this like casual nonchalance that Spirit is kind of recommending you have when you approach these more challenging topics, and just make it very like, no big deal. Like, we can talk about it or not, no big deal. We can go fishing instead. Like, just kind of bringing it up in casual ways and kind of creating the opportunities for this person to share more if they feel inclined to do so, and doing that in different scenarios. Like, for example, maybe after a night out, this person is more open to sharing than they are at 8 a.m. on a Monday. Like, and I think that there is a message here about not feeling like you need to be perfect, because you're not perfect, and that it's okay to not always provide the best support in the world or always be able to support. Just knowing that you care and just knowing that you're there, I think is already really helpful. And I think that this person really benefits from just affirmations of like, okay, well, if you want to talk about it, I'm here for you. Okay, well, you want to bring that up. If you want to bring that up at a later time, just let me know. Like, if there's a fluidity to these opportunities, not only are you going to learn when the best times to connect are, or to be like, because I feel like for a lot of you guys, like, you want to support this person more, and they just like will not open up to that, or are reluctant to. And it's something where it's like, you really can't force it to happen, but you can learn how to have a more favorable outcome with that as you both grow over time. But also just know, like, sometimes the best form of support for them might just be keeping things light and having fun with you. So I already got what I want to ask now, what you mean to this person. So pile 1, Spirit, what do they mean to this person that they are asking about? The Knight of Wands, which I love. Like, if you've ever seen What We Do in the Shadows, there is a, oh, one more. There's this one of the characters that's a vampire has a human friend named Sean, and you know, he says, he's my best friend, he's my pal, he's my homeboy, he's my rotten soldier, he's my sweet cheese, my good time boy. I do feel like that is kind of how this person feels about you. I feel like they would fight for you any day. Like, this Knight of Wands is like, they would ride into battle to you. What you mean to them is a source of, like, you are a source of like passion and excitement. You make life fun. Not only do you make life fun, but you make them braver, and you get them moving in the sense that, like, life is not stagnant around you. And if anything, you give them the strength to face their own battles and give them the strength to keep going. What else? What else do they mean to? Yeah. I will say, I bet this person has already opened up to you in ways that might seem like minor to you, but they're actually very significant. Like, what you mean to them, like, they feel like well, they may not feel that way yet. What you mean to them is like, there's nobody like you, no one else like you in their life. And you are a safe person for them to share their inner world with. and you make them better and you make them wiser. Like, I think one thing that you mean to them is like, you guys strike a fine balance of chaos and caution. Like, you grow together, and like and I think that this is extra confirmation of like, this person wants you in their life as long as they live, like with the Hermit card being here. And I feel like there's kind of this cool, like, well, one thing that you mean to them is like, they already feel like your relationship is very intimate and that they've shared a lot with you, and like, you know so much about them. And it might be kind of ironic because maybe they haven't shared very much, but that could be a lot for them. There's this beautiful balance of exciting adventures and passion and travel. Like, maybe you help this person expand their horizons, but also there's this maturing influence, this influence that makes them wiser, but also makes them realize that there's more within them than they realize. Like, you see them in a way that makes them hate themselves less. And it makes me sad to even say that, because they shouldn't hate themselves at all. But, you know, of course, we all deal with that, right? That's how they would word it. But also, it's like, you mean, like, this is the person, like, what you mean to them, like, they would do anything for you. Like, this is the person you call when you need to bury a body. Like, they will take those secrets to their grave. And you are someone who brought spark. You brought life back to them in a way that made life exciting again, in a way that makes them realize too that their inner world matters. I feel like there's a lot of room for detail and nuance in your friendship, and they really appreciate that too. You mean a lot to them, and I think that they probably have never told you how much you actually mean to them. I think that they kind of have this idea of like, well, they can tell because I'm not that open with other people. But I do feel like, and I also feel like they try to keep things lighter. Well, we know that. I've been saying that over and over. But they would consider you like a soul family, or just someone that they, like, I will find your ass somewhere else in the cosmos and we will create chaos together, because like, you get them in a way that I don't even think they get themselves, and they feel a sense of security in the privacy of your connection, or just how when you guys are together, it's like the whole world melts. Like, if you guys are hanging out in a group of people, I wouldn't be shocked if you guys end up like going off on your own, or like ignoring the rest of the group and having a conversation about like bait, going on with the fish theme. But let's go ahead and finish this reading off with, what does this person want you to know? So, Spirit, what does this person want pile 1 to know? And it could be anything at all. We have the Queen of Swords. Can you clarify that? We have the 8 of Pentacles. This makes me sad. I feel like they are apologizing. One thing they want you to know is that they want you to know everything we just talked about, that they're a work in progress, that they have a hard time being in touch with their emotions. And actually, it's kind of funny, like, I kind of see this Queen of Swords as them and you as this little baby. Like, not that that's literally the case, but in the sense of like, you are precious to them. Like, when you can't help but smile when you see babies, right? And if you don't, like, that's a you problem. Like, just so sweet and precious, and like, protect. That is how this person feels about you and feels about your friendship, relationship, partnership, whatever. And they want you to know that they're not the best at being in their emotions. And so if you're a more emotional person, they want you to know that you're really helping them gain a better awareness and understanding of their emotions. But also, if you haven't talked to them recently, one thing they want you to know is that they've been very busy, likely with work, but also just working hard in general. And they could be using that as a form of escapism right now, and they want you to know that like nothing is wrong. Pile 1's person that they asked about, I know damn well that that is not true. You would say nothing is wrong, but I'm gonna call them out. They're using work to escape their problems and escape emotional things that they don't want to face. So they're saying nothing is wrong, but that's just because they can't see what they choose to ignore. But also, I feel like they want you to know that they see, like they do not ever want to have a situation where you guys have like a misunderstanding or a falling out that you can't come back from. I think that's like one of their fears, and they want you to know that like they want to be the best version of themselves for you and in connection with you, and like they want to work together to just build a stronger connection with you, or just build enough strength within them to be more open and share more. But with this Queen of Swords as well, I do feel like, oh, I just heard the words, you're softening my cold, bitter heart. And I do feel like they want to apologize. Like they feel like they should be different. They feel like they shouldn't be so logical or be in their head all the time. And like there could be truth to that, but also, you know, like the truth to that, it lies in, you know, where they're restricting themselves because they're so in their head. But they are who they are too, and I think they're maybe not recognizing some of their just natural attributes. They're not inherently wrong and they don't need to change. But I do feel like they want you to know, even if you haven't been talking or you haven't talked recently, like they have been thinking about you. And the reason they hold back with you is because they never want to do anything to hurt what you guys have. And if that is more detrimental than helpful, they do want to work on it. And also, I feel like one thing that they would say is that they're working on getting better at communicating their feelings and being softer. And you've been a huge inspiration in that. Wow. Cool reading. Pile 1, that is where I'm going to leave it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel. So thank you to everyone who does that. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video. Comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, you can check out my social media, you can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. Shout out to my notification squad. Leaving me a like, a comment, a subscribe, turning notifications on are all helpful ways to support me. And I usually see stuff, connect with y'all when I first upload, but not exclusively. The anxiety has gotten to a point where I'm just like, but I love connecting with you guys, and thank you for all of your kindness and love and support. You guys are the best. I think that's it. You check out other videos once something extended is, but that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope this resonated. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose this yellow fluorite and the Midcenturian Tarot, this is going to be our reading on, is this person being real with you? Can you trust them? Do you see the real them? Whatever I end up titling this. Full breakdown of the reading in the intro, but we're going to go ahead and start by looking at how this person behaves and how they appear to you. So this is what you see. So if this does not resonate, this is not your reading. If it does resonate, it is your reading. If it resonates for someone else that you weren't asking about, maybe make a note, check out a different one. I don't know. Full breakdown though in the reading, and yeah. Okay. So the person you're asking about, how they appear, how they behave. To start, we have the chicken nugget. We have self-doubt. We have the travelers, and I'm just going to cross my fingers so that just, like, it shouldn't get censored. There's no nipple. Okay, it should be fine. It should be fine. And water. Okay, interesting. definitely curious to know, like, your proximity to this person, and like, because if you weren't aware, this is not, it could be, this is not a love reading. It's a reading about anyone. You could be asking about a romantic interest, but this is for any type of connection in your life. Acquaintance, friend, family member, coworker, peer, anything. I'm definitely, and I'm sure there's a wide range of answers to that depending on who you are. But this is really interesting. This person is really interesting. I wonder if for some of you, you kind of have like something about this person feels off. Let's just start with the chicken nugget. This person, how do I say this? They're very basic, but I don't mean basic in like a, oh, you're basic, like you're basic. Like, I just mean, cause like, bro, I'll be real. Like, I'm basic as fuck. Like, I got no room to judge, but I also am drawn to that because I like blending in, because my personality is super fucking weird. I don't need to do anything else to, you know, stand out. But this is definitely someone who likes trends, likes popular trends, like, and just has a very like everyday look to them. Like, whatever is in style, which I guess that has changed a bit. Like, they're wearing that. They're not very risky with their appearance. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if, like, they're just somebody who is quite, I wouldn't say plain. They're not plain, but they are, they're kind of basic. But that's not a bad thing. Like, popular things are popular because they're good, right? And I do think that this person is popular, but I think part of the reason that they are popular is because they are easy to get along with. And there's a quote that I'm hearing that I'm not gonna say it right, but it's like, this person has a lot of people around them, knows a lot of people, but they are known intimately by very few. I think that this person is also the type of person, oh, I just heard bless your heart. I don't know if this person, if y'all are from the South, but this person does give like bless her heart energy, in the sense of they would never say a negative word to your face. And like, if you're aware of how they do things in the South, they've got code for what they really mean, but say it in a polite way. There's actually a really awesome creator. I'm sure one of you guys know her. She does videos on it, and she's really funny. She always like puts like, she'll put the background on the whiteboard. I can't remember her name, but she's really funny and really great. So if anyone knows her name, tag her and share her, because she has these funny videos of like interpreting what Southern conversations really mean. And I do feel like this person kind of fits in that. They're very good at navigating social etiquette, and they are very good at being palatable for a wide audience. Like, there's not a whole lot offensive about this person, and they seem to be well liked, but they're not necessarily like, they don't stand out in any way, let's just say. They might want to, and maybe they stand out in certain ways. That might not be fair. But I do feel like they are somebody who, whatever their personality is, you're gonna get that. Like, you know how some people are really unpredictable? This person is not unpredictable. Like, if this person has coffee before church, they are not happy if they don't have their coffee before church. And if their coffee before church is not made right, they might not stop talking about it. They do like the same things over and over. Like they're a very ritualistic person, but not in the ways that this person is interesting. I can see why you might have a hard time like understanding this person, because there's a part of them that's quite reliable, that is palatable, that they're well liked. They keep things classy. They tend to be a little bit humble. But at the same time, let's talk about these 3 cards, because I've only been interpreting the chicken nugget. Oh, another thing about the chicken nugget. I do feel like this person could infantilize themselves a bit, or what's the best way to put this? They could try really hard to be relatable to everyone. Anyway, there's definitely, I think maybe one thing you've picked up on is like they have a need to be liked. And one thing I will say is that if you stand out, if you are not basic, you might find that maybe they are, and I feel bad saying basic because I genuinely do not mean it as an insult. It's like generic. Is that a better word? Because like in that I would be insulting myself. Like there is not a day that goes by where I'm not in fucking yoga pants. I'm drinking out of a Stanley right now. Granted, I stole it from my dad, but I've never bought one. But like, I've got no room to judge. But I do think that this would be the type of person that would have like a Stanley collection or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should see how many fucking crystals I have. I have so many. But I'm not trying to say this in ways that are judgmental or bad, because they're not bad. And I'm not judging this person. But I do think that people judge people like this a lot. And I think that what it really is like well, I guess we'll get into it. I don't know. We're only on the first part, what they show you. So what they do show you is definitely very like, if fine was a word, a lot of people like them. You might be like, I don't really get them, or maybe you guys are friends, maybe they're in your life and they seem very genuine, like they say all the right things, but there might be something off. This self-doubt card is really interesting because this behavior could be one of 2 things or both of them. This person, whenever you spend time with them, they could make you doubt yourself. Like, for example, if they say things like, oh, I could never pull off that hair color, or, you know, let's say you're wearing white jeans after Labor Day, and they're like, oh, I could never wear white jeans after Labor Day, which it's like, wear white jeans in the fucking winter. That shit is so stupid. I'm not gonna go on that rant, but like, rules about fashion and are annoying and dumb, and wear a tail if you want to, for all I care. As long as you're happy and comfortable. Well, I mean, I'm going on a tangent. This person has the ability to distract. I'm literally seeing, like, if you guys, who was that queen? There was a season of RuPaul where one of the queens had this running joke where she would go, look over there, and like distract people. I can't remember what her name is, but she's very funny. And I'm pretty sure she won, and so I feel really bad that I can't remember her name, but there's something wrong with the name part of my brain, so feel free to name her in the comments because she is incredible. I feel like her name starts with a J. She's great. Anyway, this is definitely somebody who, despite being very like palatable and safe and digestible to others, they do have like, even though they don't stand out like in a crowd, they do have a way of commanding individual attention, or gaining a lot of approval. Like, this is somebody who, at the very least, like, I would not say that you might feel really confused about this person, and like, because here's what I'm seeing with the Traveler's card being here. I definitely feel like this person is somebody who kind of just drifts. Like, they might be close friends with someone one day and then they're hanging out with another group, or they might never really settle. They might be someone who is a bit restless. They could make traveling their personality. I don't think that that's the case, but I do think that there is like, this person kind of has like they definitely try to portray, and this makes sense, kind of a manic pixie dream girl or boy persona. And like, one of the things about that persona is that like, it's kind of lacks depth and is unrealistic, at least if I'm remembering correctly. It's like they're basically a plot device for the protagonist to grow as a person. That might be, keep that noted. I do feel like they kind of have, they cycle, like they have like 3 different modes. Like, on the outside, there's just them. But then they have this side to them that's a little wild. They don't really show it very often, but they know how to have fun. They try not to take things too seriously. They can be a little bit saucy, or they can be a little bit spicy, but they're intelligent about who they show that with. They've likely shown you a little bit of that. They have an aspect to them though, where they like, they are somebody that I wouldn't necessarily like trust with deadlines, which once again, can't blame them, because actually, no, that's not true. I'm okay at deadlines. It's the lack of deadlines that gets me, then that nothing ever gets done. Let me know if you're the same. And I can't help but just like really want to talk to you. Oh my gosh, that's really interesting. Like, I really just like want to talk to you, pile 2, because I'm like, oh, what's cooking in your brain about this person? I hope that I can confirm. I hope some of you guys give me lots of details. So one of the examples I was saying with the self-doubt card, sorry, I'm getting scattered. Maybe you feel scattered around this person, because I'm finding it very hard to like stay focused. And I apologize if that's annoying. But I'm proud of you for doing the inner work necessary to be patient with me. Or just hit the fucking skip button. It's not that hard. You're not a victim. Not really speaking my truth, aren't I? Okay, with this self-doubt card, they could make you doubt yourself when you're around them. They could say things, and other people could clock it as like super innocent and be like, what are you talking about? I don't think they meant it that way. But you could just feel like when you're around them, you don't feel good about yourself, or you start to doubt yourself. Like, you could feel kind of deflated. And it may not even be in their words. It could be how they look at you, or just maybe like small microaggressions or something like that. Or they could be someone who uses needs others to validate them. So they share their insecurities all the time. Like, this is kind of the energy of Rapunzel being like, oh, my hair needs to grow longer. Like, I need longer hair. It's not long enough. It's not strong enough. And it's like, you're literally Rapunzel. Like, you had a man climb up your goddamn hair. And she's like, yeah, but it's like, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I'm not saying this person does literally that, but it's like, they definitely could put themselves down a lot, or be really critical of themselves, or just maybe even kind of take up a lot of air in the room, because they really enjoy reassurance from other people. So they either share a lot of self-doubt, either with you or others that encourage them, And I would say they probably use that as a vehicle for validation and / or the self-doubt card is a feeling that you experience after spending time with them, after interacting with them, where you don't see yourself as clearly and you don't see yourself as brightly or as positively. And with water, emotion, I do feel like this person can have very intense emotions, and they can come as quickly as they go. Where I'm getting the church example again. Like, this could be someone in your church, for example, if you go to church, where like they could get up in front of a congregation and give this like powerful emotional testimony and like be in tears and bring other people to tears, and then sit down and act like, and just completely move on from it. Well, that's not true, because then they would ask everyone afterwards, like, oh, I didn't sound bad, I didn't do something wrong, like are you sure? I felt like this line wasn't good enough. They might do things like that. But also, it's like, this person is either like they act like they don't care, or like their problems, like they have a problem that is the center of the universe and everyone must know about it, or everyone that is in close proximity that they are not, that they know they already have favor with, will we haven't even looked at their true self yet, and I'm already like, oh my god. And they have a they can express their emotions quite intensely. Like, this is definitely someone who can cry over minute things and seek others for comfort. They could definitely use their emotions as a way to gain sympathy, or as a way to connect. And it almost feels like kind of unconscious. Like they don't really know how to process their emotions very well. It actually makes me really sad. But in terms of how they appear to you, I think that you find them just very confusing, because most people see what's on the surface, which it's like a normal, nice, charming person. But I feel like you see things that other people don't, or like you feel things that other people don't. Like, things just seem off. Or another thing with this Traveler's card is like, I feel like they're definitely hypocritical when it comes to, they give very much rules for thee, but not for me. Like, this is somebody who, let's use the church example again, who would be telling the entire congregation that so-and-so was having premarital sex, and meanwhile, this person was getting railed last night. Like, there's somebody who definitely, like, I can just tell from this that they are not, they're at least not, I wouldn't take it personally, like, they're not being real with you, because they're not being real with anyone. They definitely seem to have a persona that's based around being liked. It's probably what makes them feel safe. And they probably have a lot of unresolved emotional needs, maybe even unresolved trauma, that kind of causes them to be very self-focused. It's kind of a paradox. It's like, they're very outgoing and like know a lot of people, and like they know how to play that social role, and they play it very well. But it does feel like, and I'm just gonna go ahead and lay out these cards. It does seem like there's not a whole lot of oomph behind it, in the sense of like, this is gonna be someone who writes you a thank you card, not because they're grateful, but because it's what would look favorably on them. This is someone who shows up with, this is someone who does generous things for the praise or how it looks, which, like, I'm not gonna dog on that, because if you're still doing something good, you're still doing something good. But I do feel like this person has takes pro-social action for selfish gain. And that's probably something that you've noticed. And it just kind of seems like they appear to be someone who has like a lot going on underneath the surface, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And I would be willing to bet too, a lot of people are like, oh, I like so-and-so, they're great. And you're like, I just don't know why. Like, I just feel off about them, or like, I just can't really get with them, or like, I just don't feel good around them. Or maybe, you know, we'll get into that. Okay, let's see their true self. I call it. Okay. So we have house, the fair weather friend, success, and active. So yeah, they're definitely not showing you their real self, but I don't like their true self, like their truest self. I don't think they really know very well, because right now, what is their true self is not actual like soul self energy. It's wounding ego and belief systems about what they deserve, what they want. Can you trust this person? No, I would not trust this person. I mean, we'll get into that later with the tarot, but are they being real with you? Absolutely not. If you are a successful person, that could be one reason why you feel self-doubt around them, or that could be one reason why this person takes an interest in you, even though you may be kind of standoffish with them or hesitant with them. This is somebody who is motivated on their success, on their stability, and on their forward momentum. Like, this kind of gives like social climber energy. While they may not be a social, like, okay, I think they're a social climber. Like, we've established they have a great amount of social intelligence that they use to their own benefit. Now, like, veering into the level of personality disorder, I think that would be much rarer, but like, I could see that being an example. But for a lot of you, I just feel like this person is somebody who focuses on them first. They're just a more self-centered person. Dare I say even selfish. The fact that we have the fair weather friend here, this is someone who's only around when things are good. And I would be willing to bet if you've been there for this person when they've had an emotional breakdown because a date rejected them, or or you spend time with this person and they make you feel bad about yourself and you don't even understand why, or they seem to take an interest in you when things are going really well, or you have a connection that they want to have. Yeah, they definitely seem to connect for selfish interests, which, I mean, it's sad in the sense that they're not experiencing genuine connection, but they don't really have a connection to themselves, so who can they genuinely connect with, right? This is someone who is here for a good time, not a long time. And if you being in their life messes with their stability or their security or their ability to succeed, they will drop you like a bad habit. This is somebody who is like the antithesis of ride or die. They're like, I'll ride if you're driving and it's in a decent car and we're going somewhere I want to go and I don't have to pay for gas. They might offer to pay for gas. They might be very gracious and appreciative. It's kind of this thing where it's like they are very good at playing, at adhering to social dynamics and expectations and using them to disguise their own ulterior motives, which are actually so well disguised. I don't even think this person realizes how self-involved they really are, which kind of makes sense because self-involved people don't have a hard time reflecting outside of themselves, right? This is somebody who's focused on success. They want the lighter things in life, the nicer things in life. I mean, they are not the shoulder to cry on. And that's the thing. If you've been a shoulder to cry on for them, if you hype them up, if you help them, I would guarantee they have not done the same for you. Or if they have, it's like they listen, say some platitudes, and okay, back to me. Like, I would be shocked if your interactions with them, like, here's one thing to notice. when this person asks you questions, are they genuinely engaged, or does it seem like they're going through the motions? Do they ask you questions at all? Ask them a question. See how long it lasts. I definitely feel like this person, their true self is, they're always on the move to something better, something greater. And I will say, like, from a place of compassion, I do think that this person has gone through really, like, traumatic or scarring experiences. And even if what we wouldn't consider, like, even if it's not the type of experience that other people would consider traumatic or scarring, it's not about what happens, it's about how the person responds to it. So I do feel like this is someone who is quite sensitive, and over time they've built up a decent mask, but I think at the same time the mask slips. But they've got people in their life that want to support them, that I feel like they're very good at putting themselves on a pedestal without trying. Maybe they're just, like, really well put together or something like that. I mean, who doesn't love chicken nuggets, right? It's like they package themselves in a very pleasing and approachable way, and I would not be shocked if they fit some sort of ideal or they just fit in. They know how to. But the thing with that is that this person doesn't forge deep friendships. They're not the person that you can call when things are tough. But also, they are someone who has no problem using you and whatever you may have to their own benefit. And if they can't use you to their benefit, if they see you as more successful than them or as a vehicle to success that they can't hitch a ride on, they might tear you down or take passive aggressive jabs. Like, this is someone who would never have the balls to say what they say behind people's backs to their face. And that's the exact type of person, I'm not even gonna lie, that, like, I have a hard time with that personality. Like, say that shit with your chest. Oh, you can't? It's because you were mean and you were projecting anyway. Like, this person can be mean, but they are always mean behind closed doors where nobody else can see them. Because even, like, when they publicly display emotion, it's to evoke pity or to get a feeling of comfort or support from others or to be seen, to be witnessed. So yeah, can you trust them? No. Their true intentions are, if you can help them forward, like, move closer to their goals, then you have value to them. If you don't, it'll be like you never knew them. And realistically, you never did, because this person doesn't even know themselves. It's a really sad place to be. And I pray that this person heals enough to see who they really are and live life more deeply. Right now, they very much live on the surface, and I think they run from themselves. They probably wouldn't describe it as that. They would just say, I'm just a busybody. But also, like, if they're not getting what they need from you, they'll get it from someone else. Like, they will do whatever they need to get their needs met, period. Their success is the most important. Their stability is the most important. If you are in the way of that, then you are a threat, and they will neutralize it in the most polite way possible, or in the most covert way possible. And I know some of you are gonna comment and be like, just say it's XYZ. Guys, I can't diagnose things. I'm not, number one, I don't have that qualification. Number two, you can't diagnose things from a tarot reading. But what I can do is give very detailed examples of energies I'm experiencing. And if they happen to fit something in the DSM-5, then you can go do that research for yourself. Okay? I've been chastised for that before, and I'm like, listen, just because I'm describing narcissistic personality disorder does not mean I'm gonna say that. And I'm not saying with this situation, it was another time, where it was just like, well, it's happened multiple times, where it's just like word for word, like, anyone who studies psychology is like, yeah, but I can't say that, okay? Because I believe in ethics. Well, my code of ethics. I think it's unethical to do stuff like that. But like I said, they could have a personality disorder of some kind, because this is, but even then, remember, personality disorders they come from trauma, and people with them, you know, it's not to minimize the abuse or damage they might cause in your life. I don't feel like this person is abusive, though. I think they're just like self-involved. And I think that they're just kind of somebody who, like, you know, is just concerned about themselves ultimately. I don't think they think about other people very much. Unless well, that's not true. They do think about other people, but they think about other people that they're jealous of, like they try to tear them down, or they think about like how to get in better graces with other people. So their true self, always looking for the next best thing. And this is very much easy come, easy go. And I'd be willing to bet, even if you know a lot of people who also know this person, the reason why they like them is because they don't spend a lot of time in close proximity with them. And if you do, then you probably feel really vindicated right now, and I hope you do. And I also hope that you're not going insane by how much I am interacting with you. You're just easy to talk to, and I like your energy. Sue me. Okay, so now I want to see what this person's purpose or role is in your life. Why are they in your life? Like, or what is the significance of, like, what influence could they have on you? Take that as it resonates. Wow, okay, and for that we have the Hierophant, which, speaking of church, like, I was really getting, like, you know, I didn't spend a whole lot of time in churches growing up, because even though I was raised Christian, my brothers played sports, so it saved me years of religious indoctrination that I'm grateful for. But there's a lot of interesting social dynamics in churches, and, you know, I think there's a very common, and I'm not hating, religion is a powerful, beautiful thing, and if you are religious, that is great, more power to you. I love people coming closer to spirit in any way that is best for them, and I'm not okay with anyone using any belief system to be harmful towards others, right? But, you know, in these structured systems, sometimes, like, it can be like a feeding ground for certain personalities like this, who, and I guess it doesn't have to be church, it could really be anywhere, right? Where there's communion, there's sharing, there's openness, and there's this foundation of support and kindness and love, right? People like that can really use that to their benefit. But, and that was a side note. I'm deeply sorry. I am going on a lot of tangents. You're allowed to be mad at me now. Okay. What they're here to teach you is, number one, to stand strong in your convictions. You don't need, and actually what's interesting is that, like, this Pope has his back turned to the church. And I feel like this person is here to teach you, and this may not have nothing to do with religion, okay? But it does seem like there are beliefs that have been instilled in you from a young age, like, you know, integrity, or, you know, like only spending time with people that uplift you, or you have a morality system, a code of ethics. And I think that this person could cause you to doubt your own. Because the person that we're talking about here, they're kind of the antithesis of structure. Like this, the Hierophant is all about structure, and specifically like traditional structures, old structures, structures that could even be constricting. And so someone like this, who really doesn't have a whole lot of internal structure, their only values are what has value to them, which right now is success and stability and having more. So they are willing to say, do, and behave in ways that would be unfathomable to you, because that goes against your belief system. That goes against what you stand for as a person. And that can be a crazy thing that I'm sure that I relate to, where it's like somebody accuses you of doing something and you're like, bro, what? I was playing Pokemon. Like, I don't know what, like, it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, you think I'm capable of that because that's what you do. You know how, like, cheaters will always accuse other people of cheating? It's because they do it, right? And people that are mean believe that anyone who is kind is being facetious or being dishonest. It's because that person isn't very nice and they don't believe that other people can just be that way from a pure place. Like, I think one thing that you're going to be learning through this person, or have learned through this person, is that just because, like, somebody fits into structures and makes sense on paper, that doesn't mean that they're safe or helpful, or that you're doing something wrong by being discerning. I also feel like they're here to remind you that if this person has hurt you, this is definitely here to teach you that you're, and I know this is going to sound messed up, you don't have to agree with me, but there is a blessing in having the principles and the character that you do, because you can lay your head down at night and know that you're authentic and that you wouldn't treat someone else that way. It doesn't erase the pain or make things easier, but it does kind of shed light on, wow, that person has a really sad life. Like, because this person does, like, they feel empty on the inside. They, like, literally, this traveler's card is a number 0. Like, they're always looking for validation, for love, for acceptance, for support, but they could have all of it and they would never feel it because they don't feel good enough. And they use these old established structures. So, for example, maybe a corporate hierarchy, or the etiquette of your neighborhood book club, to gain social standing, to network, to create a web of protection as well, and to also use those structures in ways that benefit them. So there is this purpose in showing you how, well, just because this person goes to church and says that they, you know, that they're religious, that doesn't mean they're spiritual, and that doesn't mean that they actually live by those beliefs. It just means that that's what they say they do. You know, there's a lot of people that are very religious but not spiritual. Does that make sense? And I feel like this person is helping you learn the difference between surface and substance, and where, like, leaning on the structures that you've created or that were instilled in you when you were young will help you navigate and keep yourself safe from people like this. Because I feel like you've already kind of had intuitive nudges. And that's your internal truth. That's your internal intuition, right? Telling you, hey, something's off here. But logically, you don't have anything to tell you that. Well, maybe with some of this behavior that might be enough. But they're here to teach you that sometimes what other people think is not the truth. And that sometimes you have to trust yourself. And that also, sometimes there are systems that are much bigger than us that people use to their own gain and their own benefit. And sometimes we have to just continue to hold on to what we value and what we believe in, and what makes you, especially when it comes to your values, and recognize that you are richer for having those values. And also, like I said, you can live with yourself and be proud of the person that you are. I definitely feel like this person is here to teach you conventional wisdom about who you let into your life, and also show you that most people are easily swayed by what's on the surface. Most people don't look deeply enough to see what's really going on. And that's not a knock on them. It's just a natural human behavior, right? I think that this process, especially if there are external figures. Number one, this person could inspire you to go to therapy. And one thing you might be realized is that you were gaslit by someone who is really the one that should be going to therapy. But you may also realize, like, wow, I really needed this therapy. I really needed this help. I definitely think that you might, like, depending on how close you get to this person, your level of involvement with them could really make you have a distorted idea of yourself and like feel really bad about yourself. And it's really giving like you being a fish and being judged on your ability to climb a tree. It's like, buddy, that's not what my beautiful pile 2 fish does. My beautiful pile 2 fish swims. And I definitely feel like there's a lot here though about tradition and how tradition can be used to protect yourself and how it can be a gift and upholding those traditions and those values, but also how they can be detrimental, how they can be exploited, and how others can overlook a snake in the grass, not to necessarily call this person that, but if the snake shoe fits. How would snakes wear shoes? Would they have just like one big shoe on the end of their tail? Oh my, okay, I'm stopping, I'm sorry. Some people will overlook that or not see that or be oblivious to it because everything on the surface appears okay. There's more to this. And maybe for some of you, if this is a past person, maybe feel free to share how you've learned and how you've grown. But if anything, this person will give you a lot of conventional wisdom on relating to others, on how people use their use traditional structures as a way to reinforce their own goals or hide behind certain ideals or values only to be the complete opposite and get away with it. But also I think that this person is here to help you trust yourself and your own intuition more, and to recognize when you should forego what a traditional structure says and trust yourself, and when a traditional structure or a traditional text or belief system could actually support you and protect you. So no matter what this person's influence is, it does at the very least seem like they could be a cautionary tale. And I do feel like for some of you that you have not gotten close enough to this person yet to where they could do something like that. So what I would definitely say with that is be careful, like you're not wrong. Your intuition is correct. Protect yourself. You don't, and here's the thing too, you don't need other people to validate what you feel. I wouldn't even say anything or do anything or make that clear. Just if you want my advice, my personal advice, gray rock the shit out of this person. And gray rocking is essentially being so boring that people just stop talking to you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the tarot now. Can you trust this person? That's the first question we gotta ask. No, but we'll see what the tarot says anyway. And while I'm shuffling, first of all, thank you guys so much for sitting through all my rambles. I rambled a lot, but I know some of you like that, so thank you for saying that you enjoy it. But if you want to support me and show appreciation, leaving me a little like-see or a comment, letting the ads play, or having a little subscribe, all of that is super helpful. So thank you to everyone who does that, because it's a free and easy way to support me and help me keep doing this. And maybe one day fund a lobotomy so I blab less and remember names once more. Okay. Joking, obviously. Okay, so Spirit, can pile 2 trust this person? This Knight of Swords is like, what do we say? No. Like, you cannot trust this person. It is that clear. It is that immediate. And you know that. I feel like you knew. No, I can't. I shouldn't. But you might overcomplicate it, overthink it. No, you cannot trust this person. You know that. I know that. I just said that for however many minutes I've been talking. But I do want to see if there is anything that this person has done to make you feel bad about yourself. What is the truth behind that? No, let's ask, what has this person projected onto you? What has this person, pile 2, is asking about, projected onto pile 2 that is not theirs? This 9 of Pentacles. Can you clarify that? 7 of Cups. Okay. I would not be shocked if you are everything this person wants to be. Or, okay, first of all, they projected a lot onto you. I think they kind of get a kick out of confusing you. But I do think one thing that they project onto you is this idea that you should be insecure about what you've accomplished, or that what you've accomplished isn't that significant. Or that what you have built, what you have achieved, can be lost at any point in time. I feel like they use fear to distort your perception of yourself. And they're very good at making, like, this person could make a lot of straw man arguments. But they could also, like, say things like, oh, well, you wouldn't get it, pile 2. Like, you're successful and you have this. Like, I don't have that. Like, they might make you feel guilty for you having what they don't, or make you feel guilty for whatever you've achieved. Or, honestly, this could have very little to do with, because the person we're asking about definitely views success in terms of material wealth. But even if you're not materially wealthy, you're definitely spiritually wealthy. And I think that you do have a much more solid sense of self than this person does. And so it's so solid, in fact, that it upsets them. Like, you are the type of person that probably triggers the shit out of this person because you're authentic and you're not trying to be something. And that, number 1, is something that doesn't make sense. And number 2, they have such high standards of themselves and such a low sense of self-worth that when they see you being secure in yourself and they have more than you, or they deem themselves more successful, or they view themselves as above you, and you're more secure in yourself than they are, that bothers the hell out of them, because they're like, who are you to feel good about yourself? Who are you to be secure in who you are? Like, you're pile 2, that too, and hell yeah, you do. You should be. They project this idea onto you that you shouldn't trust yourself, that you shouldn't, that what you've built you can lose, and that you either can't succeed as much as you think you can, or that your success can be lost easily. I feel like, what don't they project onto you? Honestly, I think their life is a projection fest, and it's really unbalanced. I definitely think that there are aspects of your life that they really admire. And so I think that they give those aspects backhanded compliments the most, because they're the most jealous. Like an excellent example, if you guys watch this season of Real Housewives of New York, there was a friend of on the show who is a very successful designer, and one of the ladies on there was like saying things like, oh, well, I don't shop at Nordstrom Rack, so like I haven't seen it. And it's like, dude, this lady's crazy successful. Like, it's clear you're just jealous. Not commenting deeper than that, but it's just like, oh, a massive accomplishment, and you're making fun of like where it is. I love Nordstrom Rack, and you know what? That it's a massive accomplishment to be in stores and be a designer. And of course, someone who doesn't have any of that is gonna try to take a dump on that, because nobody criticizing you is ever doing more than you, right? Okay, so they project a lot onto you, and I feel like what Spirit really wants you to know is that it's all an illusion, and your power comes from not being swayed by this person and recentering in your truth. So I want to see, I'm like, do I want to be Snoopy? Do I want to, I feel like we should focus on you, and like, what does pile number 2 need to know about this person in order to protect themselves and in order to have their own best interests at heart? The Hierophant again, and the 6 of Wands. Don't let this person dull your shine. In fact, you can stand out even more. Don't give up on yourself. You know, you miss 100% of shots you don't take. You just need to keep being you, because you shine naturally. And all that makes so much sense. Okay, we do have to pivot into robots. The animated classic robots with voice actors such as Robin Williams and Amanda Bynes. Yes, that robots that was snubbed at the Oscars. One core plot is there's this big ass robot named Big Weld, and he's an inventor, and he leaves things open for everyone, and he's like an icon. He's like a Mr. Rogers if he were an inventor of the robot world, right? Inspires dreams in everyone. And his phrase is, you can shine no matter what you're made of. And then this other guy comes in whose mommy is evil, and he's like all shiny and new. He's made of new robot parts, and he's corrupt, and he's messing with Big Weld's corporation. And his catchphrase is, why be you when you could be new? And he's vapid and he sucks. And yeah, he's vapid and he sucks. So I do kind of see this parallel here of like, you may be a Big Weld being torn down by a robot guy that I can't even remember the name of because he's not relevant. When in reality, like, you have so much to give, you have such a gift. And I think one of the things that this person really does not like about you is the fact that your kindness is genuine, your generosity is genuine, and you walk the walk that they talk the talk of, but could not do. You just need to keep celebrating and not even worry about them or look in their direction. Like, what you really need to know is that, like, you will overcome and triumph anything that happens here. But also know, like, if this person has hurt you, I hope they don't in the future, because now you can protect yourself. But if this person has hurt you, just know that the pain of that experience will fade, but their pain of never truly knowing themselves and being an empty void is a far worse painful punishment to have. Of course, it's self-created. Well, some of it is. But you just need to trust yourself and believe in yourself and be confident, and don't be swayed by what other people think. Because guess what? People can be wrong. And we're social creatures. We're like, if a bunch of people like someone, then we're like, oh, well, I guess we should like them too. Well, then there's those people that are like, why does everybody like them? Then I don't like them. So many humans, so many different flavors of consciousness. Okay, finally. Okay. I'm just going to ask for guidance on protecting yourself from this person and just how to keep yourself out of harm's way there. And people like them, because let's be real, there's plenty of people like this in the world, which is sad. And let's hope collectively that they all heal. I pray they heal. Okay. How can pile 2 protect themselves from this person? What can they do? Justice. Okay, so number 1, like, this to me is, once again, kind of the great rocking thing. If you've ever read a legal document and not had a genuine interest in law, the dopamine's probably not going to be firing. You're probably going to be like, oh my god, this sucks. This is really boring. Gray rocking should have the same effect. Gray rock the shit out of them. I think it will be really helpful. But also, one way to protect yourself is to recognize that you are divinely protected. Continue to live by the values and morals that you have, and you will see them come to fruition. Here's a secret I'm going to tell you right now. you are far more powerful than this person because you have a strong foundational belief system. This person doesn't have a belief system. They have needs and desires. And well, they do have belief systems about like, but not conscious ones, you know? You have a powerful belief system that is based in fairness and honesty and integrity. And that is enough to protect you because you will always act fairly, and you have the self-awareness and the wisdom now to act in your own best interests rather than to do what you think you should. Because one thing I will say about this person is that they can be really good at using pity or just extreme emotional displays as a way to get people on their side or manipulate or convince people of something to get their needs met. And that's where being very cool and rational, like justice is not worried about your feelings. There's not a cup here, there's a sword. But they are balanced. And so you can still be gentle but firm. I'm sorry you're going through that, but no, I can't stick around. I hope you feel better soon. Like, you can be both kind and a gray rock. You know what I mean? But also just trust that you already are protected. Like, you were led to this reading, and if this person hasn't hurt you yet, you can protect yourself from that happening now. Hello, divine protection. And if this person has hurt you, just know that the karma of that, not that karma is inherently a bad thing, but just know that at the very least, you're not wrong. You weren't wrong. And in fact, if you walked a mile in this person's shoes, you would be like, I'm really glad I'm not them too. Wow. And just know, like, one of the biggest ways to tell whether someone is a safe person or not is how balanced is the interaction of giving and receiving, and how do you feel after you interact with them? Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel good? Or do you feel drained and depleted? Because that'll be a big tell. Wow. Pile 1 and 2 have been polar opposites, but very interesting nonetheless. Pile 2, that's where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for putting up with my ramblings and letting me speak. I want to add a disclaimer that, like, these types of readings are challenging because I want to handle this person's situation delicately, but I'm also biased in your favor because I care about you. And I just want you to know I don't judge this person. They're going through their own stuff, but also just because they're going through their own stuff doesn't mean it's okay for them to treat you poorly, or it doesn't make, if they have treated you poorly in the past, okay either. And I just want you to know that you're awesome. And if someone doesn't make you feel that way, that's a reflection of them and not you. So I'm gonna leave this reading here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That's one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel. So thank you to everyone who does that. If you'd like to support in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, my social media. You can check out my candles. Be sure to use code Xoxo for 10% off. You can rate my burp. I would give it a 4, maybe a 3. Social media, you guys know this. You know the spiel. Other videos, ones with extended, you got it. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Prehnite Tower and the Prismavisions Oracle, this is going to be your reading on, do you know the real them? Can you trust them? Whatever I end up calling this. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the energy check. There's a full breakdown of the reading in the intro. But if this part does not resonate, then I would try a different group. What we're going to start by looking at is how this person behaves towards you, what is shown towards you, what you can see. So this should be pretty straightforward. Don't force something that doesn't fit. So to start with what this person shows you, what you see, how they appear, we have the 0 of Fricks. We have passion, balance. We have sacred guardian. And we have love. Okay. So I was doing this reading for like all types of connections, but this is definitely a romantic connection. So if you're asking about a non-romantic connection, I would choose a different group. If you feel compelled to stay, you're going to have to interpret the messages in the way that they make sense for you, because I've already been yapping a lot today. So this person, I would be shocked if you're not already in a relationship with them or seeing them or dating. Because if you're not, I feel like it seems, at least on paper, at least literally, right? At least on cardstock and based on these energies and this person's behavior, they adore you. It seems like you guys are both really passionate about each other. Laughing at that because first of all, I love how much this matches. Like the vibes. I love that this looks both like a penis and a middle finger. That's kind of awesome. Or I don't know. You can give your own interpretations. I obviously am an intellectual, so I saw those too. Anyway, I feel like you guys have so much fun together. I feel like this is a spicy, spicy connection. Like if you guys have not been with each other physically and you're not asexual or anything like that, if you guys haven't been together in that way, I definitely think that there's a lot of that energy and a lot of that desire there. Like, I feel like this person fires you up, but also you feel really cared for and loved. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if this person has told you that they loved you. And if they haven't, maybe it may be because they feel like it's too soon or they don't want to scare you. But you can tell in the way that they look at you or in the way that they treat you or in how they behave around you that's differently. Even if they don't say it, I feel like they've already shown it in ways that really make it real to you. I also feel like this person is very protective over you. They're also very protective of your happiness and of your joy. They want you to be happy. To the point where this could very much be like, oh, you're upset. How can I fix it? How can I change it? Like, this person definitely wants or does act like your own personal hero, and they love doing that. And the interesting thing about the 0 of Fricks is that I feel like this is how they feel when it comes to how others perceive them, how others perceive you and them, and also how they might have judged themselves in the past for behaving. Like, I just feel like your person is unapologetically passionate, romantic, caring, loving, protective over you. And I feel like in the past, this person probably had a too cool for school attitude. Like, I don't care about anything. I don't care about anyone. But I think that what they feel for you and their passion for you, I guess we'll see when we go deeper. But I feel like they just transfer that energy into, I don't care what people think. Yeah, like pile 3 is amazing. I love them. They don't know that for some of you, but I love them. Like, I would do anything to make them happy. Like, I care about them so much. And I think that you would agree that like there's a lot of mutual intensity. This is not hot and cold, it's just hot. And there's a lot of love here. And I think even if you haven't said it, you definitely feel it. I feel like you both are very protective of your time together, of connecting with each other and of each other, but your person especially. What's that song? Like, I was about to sneeze. when I sneeze, I always see that as a blessing. So I definitely think this connection is blessed, and I do feel like you guys could have a common connection, like maybe you have similar ancestries, or not in like a cousin way. I mean, I guess if it's in a cousin way, that's none of my business. But I mean, like, maybe you guys are culturally from similar backgrounds or something like that. I definitely feel like no matter what, though, you guys both have ancestors that are very protective over this connection. I wouldn't be shocked if this person is very family oriented, or just protective of the things and people that they care about, including you. And I really feel like their lack of caring about what other people think has rubbed off on you in a positive way. Maybe even literally, wink wink. Where you are caring a lot less about what other people think, because you have this person's adoration. And it's just like, I feel like I'm seeing like two dogs excited to see each other and like wagging their tails and like going crazy and running around the yard. Like that's in the cutest, purest way. That's how I see you guys. But yeah. So if you're like, my person doesn't talk to me, my person told me that I look like a shoe and that he would never polish me in a million years, and that this is not them. Because if you were a shoe, if this is the person I'm channeling, they would polish you every day and night as long as polish existed. They are quite passionate. Okay, so this energy feels really good to sit in, but we got to see what is the true them behind this. Is this true? Is this real? I could definitely see why you would want to know if that's the case. So for that, we have the taco, we have web, connection, we have flare, and we have the sun with optimism, victory, fortune. So this is very genuine. Actually, in fact, it would be crazy to think it's not, because like this person, their MO is, oh, I don't care. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's fine. Like their MO is unbothered and cool, calm, collected. So the fact that they are so passionate about you and not afraid to show that and share that, they might be afraid to show that and share that with you to the degree that they feel it. That is something that they may not be real about, depending on how long you've known each other and how well you know each other. All of this stuff you either know to be true, you've gotten an inkling of, or will come to understand, and it's just part of the dynamic. So number one, their feelings for you are true, and they're actually like very primal and like deep. Like I think this person really has to hold themselves back. Like there is a lot of spicy energy here, and I feel like this person has a really hard time like just remaining calm and not losing their mind by how attracted they are to you, and like ew, don't do that. Ugh. Spirit gave me a Twilight example. Okay, fine, it works, but it's not in the same context. Okay, when Bella wants to do the devil's tango with Edward, and Edward's like, no, I'll kill you, and I'm a traditional guy, I have to get married first. I don't think the marriage part is important. That was more of a 17, 18 value that this fictional vampire brought into his reality. But the other thing of, I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt you. I'm afraid, like, I'm not gonna be able to control myself, and like I'm gonna go too hard or be too rough or something like that. That vibe I do get from this person, where they are so passionate and like I don't even think there's a word for it, like electrified. Like if ecstasy were a human, I think it would be you to them. They adore you. And the thing is like with this taco card being here, I feel like they're trying to maybe hide a little bit of like just their mess or where they feel insecure. Like by mess, I just mean like, you know, chaos in their life or areas where they don't feel good enough or, you know, just normal human insecurities and things like that. Like, I do feel like, you know, in one way this person isn't being real with you is just the sense that they want to be their best self, and also like they also maybe aren't being real about like some of the insanely dirty thoughts they have about you. Because they feel so connected to you. They feel so blessed to have you in their life. And if you have seen them, you know, on an off day or when their life is in chaos and have been there for them and connected with them anyway, I feel like that is something that is so meaningful to them, and it's just made them even more passionate about you because they know it's like authentic and real. Like you have genuine intentions and they know that. And also like, I think one thing that they recognize is that you don't see them as flawed or broken, but you see their humanity, and rather than criticizing it or judging it or rejecting it, you love and embrace it as part of them as well. And I think they're probably very hard on themselves. But we have two cards like this. Sacred Guardian card talks about the sun, and then we have the sun here. So like, and we have the sun candle. Shameless plug. I feel like you've brought a lot of light to their life, and you make them really happy, but also you make them a lot more optimistic about life. Like I feel like this person has had a very solitary energy. Like I only care about me and maybe a couple of friends and my family, and that's it. And like I don't care about anything else. I'm not worried about anything else. And I feel like you just blew the lid off of what their priorities were compared to what their priorities are now. Well, I'm hearing the Symphony song by Zara Larsson. I'm so happy that song went viral because it was such a bop, and now I visualize dolphins and rainbows when I think of that song, which I love. Those could be signs. They feel so powerful and special that like that you feel the same way as them. They feel really excited about the future, and they just they do not want to let go of you. If anything, they just want to get you tighter and okay. Closer, not tighter. And also chill. I like that. I did not mean to say that. Like your person, they need a bucket of cold water dumped on them. I also think though, one thing they might be hiding from you is some of their intense emotions. Now these would never be directed at you, but they could very well be directed at someone threatening you or potentially harming you or insulting you. Like this is somebody who does not mess around with the people that they care about, and they have no problem directing that ire at any threat. So they might be hiding the fact that they would do some pretty vile stuff to anyone who tried to hurt you. And it doesn't come from an idealistic place. It comes from a like animalistic, like I will do whatever it takes to protect and to keep safe what I love, which is very sweet and also slightly terrifying. But we love that. I definitely think as well, like if you're not already, they really plan to ingratiate you more into their life, like knowing their family, knowing their friends, like just they want to make things, they just want to connect their life with you even more deeply if they haven't yet. If this is a newer thing, I definitely think that they are seeing you in their future, and they're really optimistic about it, and they feel like you've already come very far, and it feels really good to be where you guys are at and to be a part of your life. So let's go ahead and see what the purpose of this person being in your life is, what is the lesson? Is there a lesson? Like why are they here? And so for you guys, we have the Tower, which actually makes sense. And this is a very interesting Tower depiction. The Tower talks about upheaval and drastic change. Oftentimes, that change is not orchestrated by a human, but it's orchestrated by the divine. And the interesting thing about this Tower is that it is not being struck down. It's actually quite beautiful and sturdy. And this dude, I don't know what he's up to, but he seems to be standing on business. So, I think this person came into your life to drastically change it and to also undo false structures that would keep you stuck in patterns of the past or keep you in a place where you're trapped or just can't be free. I feel like this person came into your life probably because they were always meant to. And they were meant to change your life and you theirs. I think that there's, once again, like this flare card also talks about ancestors. So I do think that there's a lot of divine support for this connection. And I do think that like there have been a lot of, you have spiritual wingmen, let's just say that. And they keep things protected. Like, when you think about God being love, just love, like the energy of love, or at least that's what I believe God to be, simplifying it. Why would the universe, why would God not be in favor of the purest expression of love between creatures? Like, of course they're going to conspire in favor of this. And that's the thing. That's how you really know that this reading is for you, is because you're not confused being like, well, that doesn't make sense because they don't listen to me or they don't talk to me or no, this person, they're holding back with you in the sense of they don't want to come on way too strongly, but it's hard enough to do as it is. And if they hold back, it's only just so that are not too rough or too much on you. But believe me when I say, like, they love you, and they love you in a way that I don't think they've ever experienced with someone else. And I think part of the reason why that love is so profound is because if you haven't already, they feel that they can be themselves around you, and you see them for who they are, and you love that person. And if you have seen some of their human side, their messier side, it doesn't change your feelings for them. In fact, if anything, it just makes you love them more because you get to see their quirks and their idiosyncrasies. I feel like you guys came into each other's life to change things for the better. Like, this is drastic change. Like, look at this beautiful ass tower that is standing strong. No storms are knocking that down. You guys even got a doorman or something. Good shit. Like, this is powerful, profound, divine change. Like, they came in because they were meant to. They came in to make life happen for you, to make life exciting, to make life passionate. Not saying that life is dependent on, like, you can only feel those things with a with a romantic partner. You can feel those things without it, but other people can certainly fuel and inspire those energies and experiences within us. And I think you came into one another's lives to change them forever. Like, no matter what happens between you and this person, your lives will not be the same after being together. Whether you stay together or move on in life, there is a powerful bond between the two of you and a deep mutual respect. And, like, you came into one another's lives for a reason. And the only way so how that is meant to play out between the two of you, up to you both individually in your own stories, but are definitely meant to come together, definitely meant to experience a loving relationship in the third dimension, and definitely meant to just have fun with that and experience being in love as a human person on this planet and experiencing like attraction and lust and passion and like all that stuff, like all this like fun stuff. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but it's really fun. Do you like my vocal fry? Yeah, you guys are so cool for loving me despite my vocal fry. Anyway, yeah, match made in heaven. So much so that heaven made sure it happened. Okay, let's get into the tarot. I love this energy. It's beautiful. Well, it's not tarot, it's oracle, but it's basically, it's a tarot deck. It's just got different names, so I guess it's technically an oracle deck. Oh, and I think maybe there's core cards missing. I don't know. But this is what we're using. This is what I chose. And it's an excellent deck. You just may have to be patient with me because I may have to look up cards to make sure I know what the card is. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you so much for supporting me. If you would like to support me in free ways, letting the ads play, liking the video, commenting down below, letting me know how it resonates, subscribing if you haven't already. All those are super helpful, so thank you to everyone who does that. But we're gonna go ahead and start by asking, can you trust this person? Which I think is interesting because I didn't get a read on that. I mean, I feel like you can and you should, but maybe there's something you shouldn't. Okay, well, let's just see. Can pile 3 trust this person? Yeah. We have a 4 of Cups. Like, you could believe that you can't trust them. But first of all, I think one thing that even I missed was they clearly have these powerful visceral feelings and they control themselves a lot when they're around you. You know, they've got great self-control in that sense. And I do think that, like, this is somebody who doesn't have the time and energy to play games. Maybe that's one thing you guys have in common. Like, their life would be absolutely easier if they didn't feel this deeply and intensely about you and didn't love you so fucking much. But they do. So they gotta live their truth. They gotta live their life. And of course, like, they are trustworthy because they also want to be able to trust you. Like, it goes both ways. There's a lot of mutual energy here. And I feel like you can trust that if this person needs to tell you something, they'll find the way to do it. You can also trust that if this person messes up, they will listen and they will change and they will grow. Like, there will be opportunities for healing. And like, the thing about the tower too is that, like, the tower only falls down when it can't stand the storm. And that looks like a sturdy ass tower, and it's not falling and it's not storming. And that leads me to believe that this is somebody you can weather storms with, whether there's storms between the two of you or storms outside of you. And I'd be willing to bet a lot of times it'll be outside of you, not between the two of you. But even if it is, I feel like there's still a foundation of love and respect there and trust in one another, because ultimately you both have the same goal, which is maintaining the love and closeness that already exists here. So with the 4 of Cups being here, you could try and convince yourself that you can't. But you wouldn't be seeing the full picture. I will say, this person might hide things from you at times, but they're not like deceptive secrets. They might be a surprise party they're planning from you, or hiding the fact that they're in a really stressful position at work because they don't want to stress you out and it's easier for them to carry that burden alone. They might hide that, you know, they had like the dirtiest thoughts imaginable, but like none of that is deceptive or intentionally malicious. It's just them being human and just having excellent taste in you. So yeah, you can trust them, but you could get clouded by your own delusion and believe that you can't if you let your insecurities get the best of you. However, if you do let them get the best of you, it will just bring the truth to the surface and you guys will work through it. So It's fine. Okay. I want to see what you need to know about this connection with this person. What does pile 3 need to know about this connection with this person? We have the 5 of Cups. So maybe there have been disappointing experiences in the past, but that doesn't have to be the future. Also, I'm getting a message about, like, if you are projecting the idea that this will only end in disappointment and loss, you could be creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, or if not that, creating a lack of trust in the relationship out of fear of it failing or fear of disconnection. I feel like one thing that you need to know is that what you feel, what you experience, what you sense is real. What you think is not going to be as helpful for you in this process, because your mind is always trying to protect you, right? Your mind's always trying to figure things out. There's nothing to figure out. Love is just something to be witnessed and experienced and shared. And your mind might be so fearful of how good that, like, things feel that you're afraid of losing it or afraid of missing out. However, for some of you, one thing you may need to know, if there's been disappointments between the two of you recently, like if they've disappointed you in some way, I definitely feel like they are planning on making that up to you. For some of you, if you haven't been able to see this person, I think they've been really sad about it and they really miss you. There could be some sort of disappointment right now, in some sort of way, like something didn't work out or you're having a hard time. And I feel like one thing you need to know is that, number one, you can share this stuff with this person. And number two, especially if the disappointments are outside of this connection, like, one function of this connection is to make the other aspects of life lighter and easier to deal with. But also, one thing you need to know about this connection, and I feel this so powerfully, especially in my sacral, you cannot control it, in the sense of there is a greater force moving through the both of you that is moving you forward. And while you guys have a lot of power to create, you don't have the power to control. And so what I mean by that is there's no need to control the pace at which things flow, how things unfold. You just need to witness, observe, and respond accordingly to what's authentic to you in the moment. You don't need to be strategic. You don't need to figure things out. And you don't need to be anticipating grief and heartbreak and loss. What you really need to be doing is recognizing how you're blocking your blessings or pushing away the positives that you're currently experiencing out of fear of losing them. Because what that's doing is telling yourself, well, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'll mess this up. Oh, this can't happen. Like, for whatever reason, I think that there is a belief deep down that maybe you're truly not good enough, or maybe it truly isn't real, and it's right in front of you. Don't be a flat earther, okay? So someone's gonna be like, I'm a flat earther, and fuck you, and you don't know anything, you're just a dumb bitch on the internet. You'd be shocked at what, as an internet person, you can be on the receiving end of, but no matter, I'm a trooper. Don't be a flat earther, okay? The earth is a globe. Period. And you guys love each other. There is love here, and it is worthy of experiencing, exploring, and nourishing. Period. The grass is green. The sky is blue. Trees are tall. Well, actually, and then there's like, actually there's sunsets and night, and sometimes grass is brown, and sometimes trees are, yeah, okay, shut up. I'm the one doing it, but I'm telling myself to shut up. Because I'm like, don't listen to those people, just. My challenge right now is learning to love the actuallys of the world and let go of the need to be so clear all the time. Okay, anyway. Whew, I want to see, how have you changed this person? Because I think this goes both ways. So how have you changed their life? How has pile 3's influence changed this person's life? We have the Swan. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing it's the High Priestess, but I'll start with intuitive interpretations. I feel like you have really helped this person evolve into their best self, or you will. I feel like for some of you, it's still early days, so you might be kind of in disbelief, but like if the energy of what I was describing sounds like what's being built, what's leading up, okay, I'm struggling to talk now. If the energy that I described and how they show up was not fully spot on, but it was like, yeah, that's kind of where we're at, and it seems like it's headed directly to that, then yeah. If you haven't already, like, you've helped this person grow and evolve so much, or you will, they're going to become so much more graceful, and I'm pretty sure Swans mate for life. So maybe this person never thought that they would settle down, or maybe this person never thought that they would truly find that person. Maybe they didn't believe that you were out there. And maybe one thing that they realized through your presence and through your influence is that they need to be that person. Like, now that you exist and they know you exist, they need to be that person that's worthy of you. And I don't think they take that lightly. But let's see what the Swan says. Oh, protective, good omen, clarity. The Swan floats effortlessly across the glassy water, scattering droplets in elegant patterns. She is at peace with her existence and understands that which is buried deep in the mind. Bro, you are literally bringing this person peace of mind. If they could package that and sell that, corporations will be down our throats with that. She is your guardian for all important magical transitions and reconnections. I'm telling you what, there's a lot of magic behind this. And not only that, I refrained from giving this interpretation in the 5 of Cups because I feel like it's important to be careful. But for some of you, this person could be someone that, like, you know, you have a lot of love for but haven't connected with in a long time, or maybe you just haven't seen them in person for a long time. Like, how you change their life forever is like, they can, like, they're not only connecting to you, they're connecting to themselves. With grace and warmth, she unlocks your unconscious and reunites it with your conscious. Yeah, you've literally helped this person have unity consciousness. As she drifts to the melody of the universe, everything comes swirling back to you in a brilliant flash. You feel more connected to yourself than ever before. And that is one of the most powerful things, is that being with you, you make them feel more like themselves. Which, what's better than that? And to know that being in their authentic self is not only accepted, but loved passionately, that's awesome. A glowing shield cascades down the neck of the brilliant red swan. This shield represents a protective presence in your life. The swan is an omen for safe changes. If the swan comes up when you have a decision to make, take it as an affirmation that what you feel in your mind is what your heart needs too. It represents mental clarity, wisdom, and connection with your unconscious mind. If you've been waiting to take the plunge into something new, now is the time. So I think something new for them is a relationship like this, but also, I mean, you've given them a reason. Like, the energy of, like, protection is so strong here. Like, you make them feel protected. The energy of protection is here, but also there's just something about this connection, like, that is so like rooted in the heavens, which is kind of an oxymoron. That by being in alignment with it, there's just even more divine protection available. Like, you've given, like, what haven't you given this person? Like, you've changed this person's life. Like, the swan does not go back to the duckling. The swan stays a swan. And, like, you have irreparably changed this person for the better, or you will. And they will become much more peaceful, much more joyful if they haven't already, and much more themselves. And like, what a beautiful gift that is. And you did that. That's bad bitchery. Doesn't matter who you are a bad bitch. It is gender neutral. Okay, so I want to see how they are going to change your life forever. So how has or will this person change pile 3's life forever? Ooh, we have the romantic. I don't know where that is, but I think I was really wrong. Okay, it is kind of like a tarot deck because there are mirror cards, but like, oh, there are court cards. Okay, I knew it. It's just like, okay, this is tarot with a flair, which makes sense. Okay, where the hell is the romantic? I'm gonna guess that is the Knight of Cups or the Page of Cups. Let's see. Let's see here. Well, we can if I can find it. Okay, wait, maybe it's... I bet some of you guys like already saw it and you're like, hey, it's back there. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Wait, okay, that's numbered. Are all the court cards back here? Ah, ha! Knight of Cups. I was correct. A despondent woman lounges in a golden vessel as she stares deeply into her own reflection, caught in another wave of love. Okay, that's interesting. In both cards, you're looking at your own reflections. So, like, you guys are mirrored back to each other quite powerfully. Around her, the world blooms in beauty, but the romantic is too lost in her own head to remove her eclipsing hat for sunnier skies. And we have so much sun imagery here, bro. Bro, the synchronicities are synchronicitying. The romantic exhibits two sides, sweeping wondrous love and catastrophic emotional upheaval. Finding the middle ground is key in a healthy balance. This is a character who chooses to see the ideal beauty in things but can also be easily wrapped up in their own emotions. If the romantic pops up in a reading, take a minute to really cherish the good that you have in your life. What was I saying? It can be very easy to get caught up with the bad that we forget to acknowledge all is good. The romantic teaches us that if we move forward with our heart and mind, love will surely follow. And I think that's the thing. The way that they are meant to change your life is to help you embrace the romantic side of life more, your romantic side more, love more, but also not let the emotional woes of life get you down to the point where you can't keep moving. You know, with that 5 of Cups here, I do feel like one thing you need to know is that the emotional intensity, especially around disappointments, I think will dissipate over time, especially if this is newer, because I feel like you're just really emotionally invested and your heart is like on fire and you love that. But I definitely think they're changing your life for the better in the way that you're having a much more balanced relationship with yourself in terms of your emotions, but also it's a lot easier for you to embrace the positives of your life and the beautiful things of your life. And I think it's okay to admit this. Like, I think that there is a part of you that just deeply wants to be in love and wants to have true unconditional love with someone and be in a romantic relationship and experience that. And whether you're presently experiencing that or about to be, you deserve that. Own it. There's nothing shameful about that. You know, there are people that like there are people that hate love readings, and that's fine. There are people that hate romance and romantic stuff, and maybe it's because they don't like it, or maybe it's because they have their own shadows and wounds around love and romance and romantic shit. And like that's their stuff to work through. You don't need to feel ashamed of having a big heart and a romantic viewpoint of the world and romantic desires. Those are normal, and I think they're beautiful, and they're one element of life that I think our modern society does not give enough credit. I mean, I guess in a lot of ways it is overrepresented, but in other ways it's not. It's like we get these surface level representations of romance and love, but like true romance, I think is, well, I guess it's a subjective definition, right? But like, I think it can be way more romantic to do something meaningful than to just give a grand gesture, right? Like, I think that it's okay to have a romantic viewpoint in life, and I think that this person is here to help you embrace your romantic side in a way where you don't get stuck in the melancholy of your emotional body, but rather the bliss and beauty in it. And I feel like the melancholy, which is that word's coming out specifically, will just be part of this beautiful tapestry of your love with this person and your role as a lover, as someone who is in a truly loving relationship. Like, if you're not in a relationship with this person, definitely seems like you will be. And I really think that, like, this person's giving green flags across the board. So I think you just need to give yourself permission to explore that and embrace that and recognize that you are worthy and you are deserving of love and you are deserving of passion and romance and whatever your sweet, precious heart desires. You are worthy of it. And just because others don't see the value or cringe at it, it might just be because they think they can't have it for themselves. And they're hating outside the club because they think they can't get in. The reality is they can get in. And let's all pray that they find their way in there too. Because the love club is a happy place to be. So pile 3, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me. So thank you to everyone who does that and shows appreciation for my channel. It makes it all worth it. I'm really grateful for you guys. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, my social media. You can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ISO10 for 10% off. You can check out my merch. You can check out other videos, especially ones with extendeds. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 4. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the blue Fluorite Tower and the Modern Witch Tarot, this is going to be your reading on whatever I'm titling this video. Is this person being real with you? Can you trust them? So on and so forth. Anyway, we're going to start by doing the energy check, and we are going to look at how this person shows up, what they appear to be. This should be easily recognizable to you. So if it does not resonate, this is not your reading. But let's go ahead, full breakdown of the reading intro, of course. Okay, so let's see how this person shows up and how they behave. So to start, we have the dead end job. We have voice with truth. We have defeat. And we have nanny fly. Okay. Interesting. If what I'm about to talk about sounds like yourself, there may be validity in that. If you are asking about someone else and it also resonates with self, pay attention to that. This could just straight up be someone else, but I do feel like there's some you energy in here as well that you may pick up on and recognize. I could be wrong. If not, and this is just strictly about someone else, disregard those interpretations, but I'm already seeing it and feeling it. So how does this person show up? This is someone who is open and honest about their complete apathy and exhaustion with life. If this person were a slogan, they would be, I am dead inside. They would be, I go through the motions and do what I can to bring myself small moments of reprieve, because the crushing weight of my existence is so much right now that I don't see any room for light. I feel trapped. I feel stuck. And I definitely think this person is someone who, well, number one, you can trust that they're going to say what's on their mind. They're going to be completely honest about that. This is not somebody who's going to be like, they're very real about their experience. And I definitely don't think they're in a great place right now. But the thing I do want to say about the nanny fly is that this is someone who's naturally really sweet and sassy, fun and spunky and infectious. This is someone who has a really bright and fun personality that clearly does not get to be seen in the places and where they are. I definitely think that this could be someone that hates their job, or someone that you work with, or, you know, this could be literally you hating your job. This is definitely someone who work is their life, or work is ruining their life. Like, that is, like, if you were to ask this person, how could your life be immediately better now? This person would say, have a better job, quit my job. I heard some other things I'm not going to say because they're joking, but it's not funny. Anyway, they definitely feel there's just this sense of like, what is the point of getting up? I'm tired of being knocked down. I don't have the energy to keep going. And the saddest thing here is that they reminisce on their joyful past experiences, on who they used to be, on their innocence. And this person genuinely believes their good times are in the past, or that things can and won't get better. That the bright, fun person, that was just them before the world crushed them. And that version of them is still there. If this is a person outside of you, I definitely think that this person's personality shines sometimes in the most unassuming moments, where typically they're like very apathetic and just like kind of just shut off and shut down, just going through the motions. Their personality shines through and you're like, whoa, hey, you're cool. I like that. Where's that? What like there's this obvious sense that if this is a person outside of you, they're not themselves right now. And I think they probably don't recognize that. I think they think that where they're at is who they are now and how they are now. And when you are in the throes of suffering, it is really unhelpful to create an identity around that suffering and a belief that that's who you are. But it's super normal and it happens a lot. And it's just really sad and hard to witness, because it seems like this person has a bright, playful, fun spirit, and they definitely don't recognize, and if you've been on the receiving end of it, you'd probably understand, they definitely don't recognize how bluntly they can see the world, especially when they're in, and I can't even say a dark place, it's just in a apathetic place. Like, the world is not doom and gloom, it's gray and lifeless. It is nothing. Like, the words of Livia Soprano, it is all a big nothing. Like, but this person is not like Livia Soprano. Just that quote. Like, they see no hope right now. They're very apathetic, and honestly, I would not be shocked if one way they are escaping life right now is through the internet and lots of negative rhetoric that reinforces why they shouldn't care, why it's not worth it, why being human sucks, why what's the point of this? And I just want to say, if this is you and you are feeling any type of way about not wanting to be on this planet, please, 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 please seek help and resources. It is a quick Google away. I can't say the words, because Google itself censors me. But just know, like, if this is you, please, please, please get help, because this is not a healthy place to be in, and it's not the truth. It may be your truth, but you have so much value and there's so much more to this world. And it's clear, like, whether this is you or another person, you're in the wrong soil, and you're somewhere where your spirit is literally being crushed. Like, whoever this is, they are feeling completely disconnected. They feel defeated. They feel just lost. And like, honestly, I feel like the pain just became so much of just losing so much of themselves in this process that they've just shut down and escaped and used memories as a form of escapism. And sometimes they get moments of lightness, which is like really their spirit coming through. If this person says something funny, or if they do something very like ostentatious, but like not in a bad way, in a good way. Like, this person in actuality is very extra and very fun and playful and creative and sentimental. And I definitely think wherever this person is, they are in an environment where their innate gifts, who they truly are, is not seen, is not appreciated, and it's truthfully not wanted, because those qualities are probably not best cultivated, or probably not qualities necessary to be cultivated wherever they are working or living. This is someone who definitely is a shell of themselves right now, and is understandably miserable, and is speaking that misery to you. Or if this is you, you're speaking that misery out into the world. And I just want, first of all, I wish I could give you a huge hug and just like tell you like how you're feeling is so valid and so understandable. And I know how hard it is to be in that place, and also just how like impossible and hopeless it feels and seems. And it is when you're in it. But I also need you to know that it's not the truth. It might be the truth of your current experience, but it will not be your truth forever. And if you're asking about someone else and you're like, and you see these glimpses of them that are like spirited and joyful, and most of the time they're just pretty despondent and like miserable and blunt and bleak, that's not who they really are. That's what their pain has told them they are. That's how their brain has interpreted the suffering they've been experiencing. And if you are in a situation where this person is, so let's say this is somebody else, and this is somebody who makes you feel defeated, who says things to you that are really unkind or that tear your dreams down. Or like, let's say, for example, you know, you're engaged and this person finds out and they're like, oh, that's great. I was engaged once, and then my fiance slept with my mom, and then they both disowned me, and then they set my car on fire. And it's like, okay, that's horrible. I'm sorry. But like, I don't know if that's a common experience in love, but like, they might project the idea of like, enjoy it while it lasts because it won't happen. And that might be upsetting to witness and experience. Like, this is somebody, if they're outside of you, they could take the wind out of your sails, because especially if you're in a place where you're not struggling like that, where you are happy or exciting things are happening to you, you could certainly be in a position where this is somebody where you might be like, do they really believe this stuff? Or like, are they just miserable? Or like, they going through a hard time? They're definitely going through a hard time. And I think even you can see that. But that doesn't make it any less challenging, because, you know, it can be hard and hurtful when people say things that they believe that are not true, or not true for us, and that are, you know, invalidating or just really negative and full of doom. And you might even feel confused because sometimes they're cool, but for the most part, they're just kind of like, they could just say the really, like, the most biting things in the most monotonous tone and just like take your breath away. Whether this, I hope this isn't you, just because I hate to see anybody going through this experience. But whether you're on the receiving end of someone who's dealing with this and maybe dealing with it in destructive ways, or you are in the throes of it and dealing with it yourself, I'm sorry. And I just want you to know that, like, it will be okay. And if this is you, this is not the real you. This nanny flag card, some of that is you. And you do have a powerful voice and a lot of truth to share, but the truths that you may be, but the truths that you are coming to a conclusion about are not truths based in the heart. They're truths based in the suffering and pain that you've been experiencing, and that's not all that life is meant to be. And you deserve to have more than that. And you deserve to believe in that and believe in yourself too. It's never too late. You're never too old. It ain't over until your heart stops beating. Let's just be real. So, and I think that you have a lot left to give to this world and to receive from this world. So let's see the truth behind this person. And I will just say right now, like, if this is you, can you trust this person? You can't trust the version of you that's in this state, because this version of you is coming to conclusions that are not true, that keep you stuck there and that make you feel like you can't change or grow or evolve or get out. But I think you can trust yourself. Well, let's just keep going. Okay. So the true self, the true intentions, energies, we have the High Priestess. It's my favorite High Priestess card ever. We have Tower, loneliness, separation, and reflection. We have Cheek, and we have Unseen, hidden. So yeah, if this is you, you are not being real with yourself, because you are, like, the cards are literally indicating you're disconnected from your spirit right now, which is okay. And that is normal. In shamanism, there's this concept called soul loss. You might want to Google it and maybe look into, like, some shamanistic healing if that's something that you are interested in. There are many wonderful facilitators out there, and they help with soul retrieval. And soul loss comes from things like trauma. And one traumatic thing can be being stuck in an environment for an extended period of time that drains your soul and crushes your spirit. Like, it's not a helpful place to be, especially when you spend the vast majority of your time there. It's like, it's really messed up, actually, that humans are subjected to that. I don't know. I guess that's life, and in a lot of ways it could be worse, but that doesn't mean our struggles aren't hard. Yes, our ancestors had to grow their own food and had to risk catching cholera, but they never had to see 2 girls, 1 cup. So I think that every generation has their struggles, and our ancestors could not fathom the horrors of which we've had to see. So, and if you steal that joke, you better give me credit, because I think it's really funny. And it's also true. Anyway, this person, you know, if this is someone outside of you and they've said some really harmful, hurtful things to you that have really crushed your spirit, or just made you feel like you can't trust yourself, or feel like you can't doubt yourself, or just feel disempowered, their true self is not in the building. It's the equivalent of, like, it's almost like they're on autopilot, but that autopilot is set to like, whatever doesn't match my miserable experience, I must tear it down. Now, if this reading is about you, I'm not saying that you're doing that. I'm getting that more as you being on the receiving end of it, but you may not recognize how biting your words might be. You know, you might just be speaking your truth and sharing your pain, and it might be really painful for others to receive. That's one thing that I had to learn, because I completely resonate and understand where this comes from, and like I've been there myself many times. I'm sure I will have to claw myself out again at some point in the future, but it'll just get easier. I remember I used to say, I'm not a cynic, I'm a realist. I'm just being realistic. I'm not being negative, I'm being realistic. There's no such thing as realistic. There's what's real to us and what isn't. And when people say be realistic, they're saying be the subjective idea of what I think is real. And truthfully, I was being cynical and negative, because when you're stuck in a really horrible, depressed place, positivity is fucking painful. And positivity may not be what you need or what this person needs. And in fact, if you're a more positive person and you're asking about someone else, it's quite likely that they find your positivity grating, because it's just so different from their experience. And I find that when individuals are in the throes of suffering, me included, you almost have this assumption that, oh, well, that person truly doesn't know what it's like to suffer, because if they're that happy, like, they haven't experienced it yet, which is completely so far from the truth. But it's just another illogical fallacy that our brains make up to keep us in the same state, right? Whether this is you or this is someone else, their true self is unseen to them at this time, or unseen to you at this time. I'm hearing Amazing Grace in my head. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I once was blind, but now I see. This heavily resonates for me as like the when it's darkest before dawn. Because the true self here that's wanting to come through is a self that desperately needs self-care and nourishment. They're definitely not getting a lot of that, whether it's you or someone else. And they are somebody who has done that in the past. They've just lost their way or lost sight, or even the things that used to be nourishing and count as self-care. Maybe they've veered into maladaptive coping mechanisms or avoidance. Like, for example, cannabis. It can be, you know, a plant that can be used in unhealthy ways, you know, especially if you use it to escape or avoid life. I'm certainly not guilty of that at all ever in my life. But if one were, you know, it's something where it can be therapeutic until it's not. It can be helpful until it's not. There is such thing as too much of a good thing. And if anything is becoming so much of a dominating presence that it takes you away from your life and you use it to run rather than to receive, that might be a sign that whatever you might be doing to cope, or whatever this person might be doing to cope, is actually not helping them. It's hurting them. But whether this is your true self or this person's true self, their true self is someone who knows they're worthy of better and more than what they're being given. This is someone who knows that their needs aren't being taken care of, but they're too tired and drained to do that right now. And that's okay. Sometimes self-care is just letting yourself be exhausted and fatigued. Letting yourself, like, sometimes you just have to move through that experience and not try to change it, but surrender to it and see where it leads you. Because I feel like sometimes when you try to fight those feelings, fight that suffering, fight that apathy, or feel like there's something wrong, it just adds extra negative feelings to an already incredibly shitty experience. So if this is you, pay attention to what you're doing to care for yourself. And what you may actually need may not be what's desirable. Like, I know when I'm really struggling, the last thing I want to do is go outside and take a walk. But it always helps me. I know that when I'm struggling, I don't really want to move. But yoga helps me so much. Like, there are things we don't want to do that actually can be incredibly helpful. And I think also, you or whoever this person is has established a very natural and powerful connection with the self that has been lost. So there is this grief here where it's like, I was connected to myself, I knew myself, and now I feel disconnected. Myself is gone. You're not gone. You're just disconnected from yourself, or they're just disconnected from themselves. And if this is the inverse, then I would say you're probably more connected to yourself, and that bothers this person. And they have a belief right now that everybody loses themselves eventually, or, oh, that spark, that life, that joy, it'll fade eventually. It's a really sad belief to have, but it's understandable. Like, Earth is brutal, but it's also very beautiful, and there's a lot of wonderful things here. And, you know, we live in that paradox of insane horrors and immaculate beauty all in one ball of chaos. And I think that you are both those things. We all are those things. We're all our own universes, right? And I think that your true self is someone who has forgotten their soul, or this person has lost touch with their soul. They feel lonely, they feel separated from themselves, and that's not only a very fearful place to be, but it's also extra challenging, because whether this is you or someone else, you can't seem to find what it is that you're looking for. If you had the keys to get out of this situation in the past, it seems like you can't find them, or they're not working in the same way. If you know you need to change, but you don't know how, or this person needs to change and they don't know how, it's like they can't see what they need to in order to take that next step. But we do have cheek here. And the thing is that one thing that this person has in spades is courage and cheek. That's part of this nanny fly energy, where this person, whether it's you or a person you're asking about, they have the ability to be brave and take steps in new directions, explore new horizons, expand, put themselves out there, even make risky or reckless decisions in the name of, I want to see how high I can fly, I want to see how far I can go. To have the courage to put yourself out there and be seen. And they can't be seen, or you can't be seen, because you're disconnected from yourself. So not only is your world reflecting back, if this is you, your own apathy and suffering and pain, but also you can't see the parts of you that make you wonderful, and the parts of you that will lead you through this time. But that doesn't mean they're not there. Without my contacts, I can't see shit. Put those bad boys in, and all of a sudden, I'm good to go. Legally allowed to drive. Sometimes we just gotta turn a light on. Sometimes we gotta find clarity. Sometimes we have to go to an optometrist. Sometimes the answers aren't that simple, and we have to undergo a weird unraveling where we just follow the process and understand later. I find that oftentimes experiences like this are like untangling fine jewelry. Just when you've got one done, there's a new knot tangled, and you got to deal with that. And it's just a lot, and it's meticulous, and it takes time, but it's not impossible. And I think that if this is someone that you know, I feel like what I would say is that they're in a really, really difficult place. They cannot find themselves. They have a spirit that is yearning to be seen, yearning to live and exist, because their human body is still on this planet. they're just not really getting to live because the human part of self is really shut down and despondent. But it's only that way because of being so lost from itself. And if this is you, your true self is begging to come out. That's why it is so hard for you to deal with life right now, because it is so incompatible to your truth and incompatible to what you're capable of, who you're meant to be, where you're meant to go. And like, it's so not over. Nothing is over. And just because you can't see what will help you, or just because you can't see, or this person can't see their own light, doesn't mean it's not there, and doesn't mean that y'all can't find it, whether it's you or them. I just feel like for a lot of you, it's you, but I could also see this being an outside person. Your true self is joyful. Your true self is, actually, no, let me put it this way. Your true self is peaceful. Your true self is intentional. Your true self is authentic. Your true self is open, flexible, expansive, inquisitive, and ever evolving. If you feel stuck and stagnant and literally dead inside, that is a sign that that is not you. That is, you are in a serious need of spark and life and joy and passion and the things that just make being alive worth it. And sometimes it takes time to get there and to find that. But at least if you know what it is you're needing to find or cultivate, that can be the first step in a direction where you feel a little bit better. And if this is someone that, you know, I would say you're correct in assuming that, how they behave, that's not really them. They are dealing with their own separation from self and loneliness, and they just can't see all the magic hidden within them because they're too busy focusing on, well, they may not have the capacity to, and they may not have and they may not know that things can be different, but they can be. So let's go ahead and see what this person's purpose is in your life, or what the purpose of this experience is, I guess. This is the only reading where I'm like, this might be you. So for that, we have strength. And I think this makes a lot of sense, because true strength is not about invalidating your emotions and just pushing through it. True strength is about having courage. It's about surrendering. It's about not giving up. You can be miserable and hate everything, but you're not giving up. That's what's important. Let yourself be as miserable and hateful. I mean, maybe don't project that more outwards. Do what you want with your life, but like, I wouldn't recommend it. But you can validate those experiences. You don't need to add extra shame onto that. With this strength card being here, this is if this is someone outside of you, their purpose and their role in your life is to show you that, number one, some people choose to stay in this place. Some people are stuck in this place because they don't know any better and they don't know how to get out. But there are some people that I will say like being miserable. They probably wouldn't admit that to themselves, and I think they don't truly like it, but it's what's comfortable and it's what's familiar, and so that's where they'll stay. And that's a really hard place to be when you have dreams and hopes and wishes and have a whimsical view of the world. But part of strength is not allowing others' perspectives to tear yours down, taint your vision, or stop you from believing in yourself and your dreams. In fact, it's just the resistance, the energetic resistance bands that only make your dreams and manifestations stronger. But if this is you, the purpose of being disconnected and reconnected to your soul and is, number one, to just have the experience of being human and what it feels like to be, stuck in your body, stuck in your mind, disconnected from your spirit, but also what it's like to be truly connected to your spirit, to be in divine flow, to experience the many aspects of human existence and how they all serve the soul. And they all do provide literal strength. Like, it takes strength to do things differently. It takes courage and it takes bravery to face the unknown. But I know that's one thing that you're meant to do. And I do think that if this reading came to you, like, can you trust yourself? Yes. If this is you, you can trust yourself to move through this. What works for you may not be what works for someone else. What your process is, it may be completely unique to you, and it may take time, and the conclusions that you come to could be wildly different from someone else. But as long as it's your process, it brings you peace, and it gets you to a place of, oh wow, living actually isn't so bad, and oh wow, it can be better. In fact, I would even venture to, dream up for you that you could reach heights of, wow, life is fucking amazing, and I'm so glad that I am witnessing the highs instead of the lows, or wow, life is beautiful, and I'm so glad I did not give up on myself. I'm so glad that I persevered. Like, and so if this is someone outside of yourself, it seems like you're being taught perseverance from a sense of not letting other people take the wind out of your sails, not letting other people's issues be something that, tears you down or makes you feel like you can't do something. Just because someone says something with conviction doesn't mean it's true. Like, just go on your phone. Well, you may be on your phone. Anyway. And if this is you, I definitely think that part of strengthening your spirit, strengthening your vision, strengthening your clarity of purpose and your direction and where you want to go, even if that clarity is like, I have no idea, but I'm going to flow with it and create, that's wonderful. You are in a period of resistance that will lead to a period of release where things do get easier and you will move through this. Storms do not last forever. We do not exist on Saturn. We are on Earth, and really one thing that this is supposed to show you and teach you is that the spirit is very powerful. Your spirit is very powerful, and while you can get disconnected from it, you can never truly lose it. You can never truly lose yourself. You can just forget or get lost or believe in an illusion that you'll never find yourself. But you are always you. And if this is only about someone outside of you, this strength card is all about you having the courage to do things anyway, to not let others and their own problems be something that you take as evidence that you can't do things, that you can't try, because a lot of people in that state will try to do that. And you can't let it stop you, because if you do, then all you're doing is contributing to more apathy and hopelessness and suffering in the world. Not only is the person that caused this missing out on experiencing connection to their soul and their own divinity and their own magic, but now as a consequence you are too, because you believe them. Don't believe them. They're not telling the truth. They're telling their truth, which is distorted. Both of you, you might be like, this isn't about me at all. But both of you, if maybe this is about another person and about you, have powerful, strong spirits and are deserving of more than you're giving yourselves credit for. There's more underneath the surface than you realize, but it does take patience and a willingness to be open and brave to explore what's within us and what within us might push us to go outside of our comfort zone, to put ourselves out there in ways we haven't before, to be seen in ways we've never been seen before. and experience that. So we're going to go ahead and get into your tarot now. Very interesting reading. I don't know how I'm going to word these questions, but we're going to just start with, can you trust this person? And like I said, because that's the question we ask for everyone. Yes. Like, you can't trust yourself when you're stuck in this apathetic state, but you can trust your spirit to come through. And you can trust yourself to hold out until you reconnect and realize it's all going to be okay. If this is someone outside of yourself, no, you can't trust them because they're not even coming from a place of clarity. They are just projecting what's going on within them. And you can't trust what their truth is, because their truth is not the truth. It's what they're trying to get you to buy in as the truth as well, so that they can feel better about the fact that they're not where they want to be. Okay. So, Spirit, can pile number 4 trust this person? Look at that. I have Priestess coming out again. You know. And I think you just needed to hear that. If that's someone outside of you, you just needed to hear that it's not the truth, and that. But I think what truth this person did speak to you was a truth about your insecurities and a truth about your fears and your limitations, and where you don't feel maybe good enough or are still too afraid to put yourself out there in different ways or reach for your dreams in different ways. And I feel like you can trust that those, when words like that affect you, there's a corresponding belief inside of you that believes that to be true, and that's why it hurts. So it's in those moments where you, instead of pondering the truth of their words, ponder, what is the truth within me that is still wounded enough to believe that those words are the truth, or that they could be the truth? If this person is you, you know you can trust yourself. You know you got yourself. I recognize this experience wholeheartedly, where it's like, I don't know what's going on, but I know it's gonna be fine, and I got me, but I have no clue what's going on, and I'm exhausted and terrified, but it's cool. It's fine. We're chilling. And I feel like that's kind of you. Like, you know deep down. Like, you might have to write out some tough energies, some tough times, but you know you got you in the end, and you'll always come back to yourself. And the reunion of coming back to yourself is a fucking sweet one. So, just know that reunion will be sweet. Anyway, I want to see what you need to know about this situation if this is someone outside of you. So what does pile 4 need? Yep. I feel like we should be allowed to show booties, but all right, well, let's just put the crystal there. Okay, so we have a double card coming out, and yeah, this is not the truth that is being spoken. What you need to know is that they are chained and they are trapped and they are in a really dark place. They are in a place right now where they can only see their truth is their truth, because that's where they're at and that's where they feel trapped. But it is not the ultimate truth. In fact, it is just fear and insecurity and misery and human suffering being projected onto you. And what's the saying? Misery loves company. This person is chained to energies, and I think one thing you need to know is that it's not your responsibility to save them or free them. We all have a responsibility we should all take responsibility for our own lives and recognize where we can do more, and recognize where we can give people less sway over our lives, and also recognize where other people have the capabilities of stepping up. They may not have that knowledge, they may not want to change, they may not want help, but that's okay, because that's their choice. But you don't have to let it affect you. And if people do truly want help and want to change, they typically find it. Obviously I'm generalizing, but things can and do get better. And I often believe that starts with just the desire or the determination to just change your circumstances. Like for me, I think the first time that I spent most of my life in a state like that. I've spent more of my life like in deep depression than I have like balanced or peaceful. Well, even then. Having emotions again is cool. Had those for a long time, but like, and this is way back when, like, I would say ages 10, 11 to 22, 23, and little bouts in between, right? They kind of come back like little colds. And when you're in that place, like, it just feels like you can never get out, and it's so hard, and it just sucks so much ass. But I truly didn't start to get a handle on things or just feel like the weight, like the first thing that just helped me realize this weight doesn't have to be so all-consuming and crushing was when I decided I can't fucking take being here anymore, and I will do anything to just relieve this experience even a little bit. And that led me on a beautiful, beautiful journey. And I bet it will do the same for you. And if you're in this place, which I hope you're not, and if it's someone else that's in this place, we can only pray that they find their way through and find themselves again. Because what they are identifying as self is really just separation consciousness and fear and wounds and lack and misery, and honestly just experiencing the reflection of where society is at right now and the human systems we find ourselves in that can be quite soul crushing. But if this is you, I want to see what Spirit needs you to know. So Spirit, what do you want pile 4 to know if this reading is talking about them? Yeah, with the 8 of Cups. You can and will leave this place. You might return to places that seem familiar, but you will never stay there as long, and you will have far more tools to get out than you once did. What you need to know is that whenever you're ready to get up and move forward and make a change, that pathway is open to you. The universe will not force you. The universe will not shame you. You are allowed to stay in your experience for as long as you feel you need to. And if you're not ready to change, like these truths can coexist. You can be absolutely miserable and apathetic, but be way too afraid to change anything. And that's okay. It just may take time for you to build up a vision and the courage to do something differently, but it will come. And I think the universe will not stop in terms of giving you opportunities to walk away from what is holding you back emotionally, what is holding you down, and keeping you stuck in places that have nothing to give you. Because you have much more, no wonder you have nothing to give to others, because you're not getting anything back. You're actually just matching the energy of the environment you're in. And what Spirit is really saying here is that you're not stuck here forever. And guess what? You know what the 8 of Cups moves to? The 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups is all about wish fulfillment and dreams coming true and joy and happiness. So just know that it may seem insurmountable and impossible now, but nothing is. And you will move through this, and it will be okay. And yeah, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you real hard. But I guess we have one more card. So let's get a message from your spirit, from your higher self, and just get some encouragement. So pile 4's higher self, pile 4's spirit. What would you like pile 4 to know at this time? Yes. Bitch, look what's on the back of the deck. What did I say? The only thing between you and the Nine of Cups is confidence and belief in yourself. The only thing standing in your way is the action you need to take, the belief in yourself, the courage to put yourself out there, and the willingness to create a new reality. Those are actually, they seem simple in practice, but they can be quite daunting. But the most important thing to have and to cultivate is the recognition that you can do hard things, and that even if it's challenging, it's worth it, because anywhere else is better than where I've been, right? And also, you can handle life with more confidence, because as you move through this, you'll be like, well, I navigated that pit of suffering, so I can handle a lot. If I can do this, I can certainly try this other thing. And there's so much joy out there for you to experience, so much confidence in yourself to cultivate. And I think that's one thing you need to recognize too. Like, if this reading was talking about someone outside of yourself, I think part of the reason why they may have like torn you down a little bit is because they're threatened by your confidence. It makes them feel insecure. And maybe you don't see your own confidence, but they see your light. They see what you're capable of cultivating. And they wonder why they've lost that. Maybe you can be an inspirational force for them to grow and change. Obviously not literally, but just by example. But your spirit really wants you to know that you can trust where it leads you, and that your best creations and your best direction will come from the direction and be headed in a place that you feel passionate about, that you feel excited about, that you feel a deeper divine purpose for. You know, like when you don't feel motivated, what's the greater principle or the greater ideal that you're working towards that is important to you? That will help you keep going. But also, I think that this process is going to be your spirit wants you to know you have more strength and more courage than you realize, and you're far more capable than you realize. And I feel like your spirit is really saying, I cannot wait to work more with you and be a co-creator with you in your dreams in this beautiful human world. You sweet, beautiful human. Valor. Oh, I think that's where I'm going to leave this reading. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. This was definitely very different from the last three, but I hope it resonated and I hope it made sense. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here and for supporting me. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, you can let me know how it resonates by commenting down below. You can subscribe if you haven't already and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, you can check out my social media, you can check out my candles. Be sure to use code Iassen for 10% off. You can check out my other videos, especially ones with extendeds. But I think that's all I have for you guys, so thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!